Hang on in. We have a lot to get into today. Hope y'all having a wonderful day. All right, let's keep going. Quick chat. Appreciate y'all. Let's go.
FDMG is coming. FDMG is coming. FDMG is coming. It's coming. FDMG is coming. FDMG is coming. FDMG it's coming. 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 Oh, it's coming. FDMG is coming. FDMG is coming. Thought his personality be twerking. It's twerking.
All right. Thank you guys so much. We're going to get right on into it because I want to have a relatively shorter show today. I said that yesterday, but that didn't work out. But it is what it is. I will be live streaming tomorrow as well. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. Shout out to everyone inside of the Cookie Crush Chat. How's it going, Deshaun and Lynn's in the building, and for the sake of logic, and Jubilasi is in the building as well. Thank you so much. And social media currency. Yeah, I remember when I did that. It was impromptu. I said, let me go put these lyrics down. Well, it's not much lyrics, but I said, let me come up with a melody. Worked out chords on the piano, and I just did it. And here we are all these years later. Many years later. Thanks, Truck Talk, for tuning on in. I appreciate it. Thomas is here as well. Okay, so today what we're going to do is we're going to get into an interview, or not an interview, but Umar Johnson and a lecture that he gave. This was on August 3rd of 2026. And I think once we get through this, I think we're all kind of, I'm pretty sure I have a folder of older Umar Johnson videos. I'll go back through that folder to make sure. But no matter what the issue is, tomorrow we will be back and we will be live streaming because there's a whole lot of other stuff I've been wanting to get into. How's it going? Now I wrote this down. a.k.a. Have my notepad for things I got to do each day and then the next day. And every single time I cross stuff out or I'll start another page, I'll put that up there. a.k.a. Thank you for tuning in. Okay. All right. What's up, Joshua? Afro-Punchix here as well. Appreciate your presence. How's it going, Queendom? Okay, so what I really want to get to today in terms of a theme is Umar Johnson and how he used to be a speaker that all sorts of people would come out to listen to. And what I mean by that, it wasn't just people in the Black conscious space, and I'm just talking historically speaking, it was also people who were professionals. And this is something that a lot of people don't know about. Back in the day when Umar presented himself as a school psychologist, and most of the time he was doing that, he wasn't a school psychologist, but he would dress in suits and ties, and he would talk about special education and the school to prison pipeline and misdiagnoses and all these different types of things. There would be professionals, legitimate professionals, who would come to hear Umar Johnson speak. And during that time, he spent a lot of time, not a lot, but he would spend time speaking at colleges and universities back then. So it wasn't just people in the Black conscious space. It wasn't just people like these days. It's more like everyday people kind of watch Umar. It's more because he's like entertaining. He's more like a mean kind of a character type of thing. Snow Bunny's never, Black Queen's forever, shucking and jiving type of a situation. So a lot of people these days, they look at him just more like an entertainment. Okay, he's more like a court gesture. But back then, people took him very seriously. Okay, and I'm not saying that, because in all fairness, I'm not saying that people don't take Umar seriously these days. I'm saying that there's a drastic difference between where he was in his heyday versus where he's at today. In fact, yesterday, I pulled up a video. Umar, he went live yesterday just for a couple of minutes. And I just want to show you guys, just to compare and contrast. This is Umar from yesterday.
Peace and Pan Africanism. This your big brother King Kong Consciousness. Just letting y'all know I'm gonna be pulling up in Columbia, South Carolina this Thursday. House of Hathor, 6 o'clock. Make sure you in the building. The Prince of Pan Africanism is Leo season. It's Garvey week. It's Nat Turner week. I want to see all my South Carolina and my North Carolina Africans in Columbia, South Carolina. I said I want to see all my South Carolina and my North Carolina Africans in Columbia, South Carolina this Thursday, August the 13th, 6 o'clock, Columbia, South Carolina. And I want to see all my Jamaican Africans. Where my Jamaican Africans at? I want to see you in Kingston, Jamaica. The Prince is coming back. Kingston, Jamaica, Monday, August 17th. Marcus Garvey Solar Return, King Kong Consciousness, Kingston, Jamaica, at the Nation Lounge on Old Spanish Town Road, at the Nation Lounge, Old Spanish Town Road, Kingston, Jamaica, Monday, August 17th, 7 o'clock. Is Leo season. Where my Leos at? Where my...
Yeah, so he's so much different. He's changed, okay? In this case, he's up here begging. He's going to be begging for money. He posts this on his Instagram page yesterday, and then there was a inside of the comment that he left with that's associated with this particular post. He's asking for people to donate to FDMG. That's why he's up there in front of these abandoned buildings in the first place, because he needs to get money out of people. He looks disheveled. Okay, I'm gonna be straight up. He looks high or fiending. I would say fiending in this case. Okay, that's why he's up there trying to get money out of people. His beard is not well manicured, and he's just meandering around outside yelling at people, yelling through his phone.
Columbia, South Carolina, this Thursday, August the 13th, 6 o'clock, Columbia, South Carolina. And I want to see all my Jamaican Africans. Where my Jamaican Africans at? I want to see you in Kingston.
Okay, this is a long way away from, let's as an example, 2013. He still wasn't in his heyday. I just want to do this real quick, more like a retrospective. Here's an example of when he used to dress in suits and ties, and professionals would come out to listen to him.
Anniversary of the Nat Turner insurrection, the George Jackson assassination, and the Haitian Revolution. And according to some people, the birth of Christ was August the 21st. I was born in Philadelphia. Power concedes nothing without a demand. It never did, and it never will. His Excellency, the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey said, without confidence in yourself, you are twice defeated in the race of life. But with confidence, you have won, even before it has started. Mr. Garvey said that God did not put black people on this earth so they could serve other people. He didn't put you here just so you could be somebody else's visitor in their house. You're supposed to have your own house, which is why I say Pan-African.
Yeah, so you see the difference. I just want to make this point.
Jamaica, the Prince is coming back. Kingston, Jamaica, Monday, August 17th. Marcus Garvey.
Yeah, it's like this. It's 13 years later. Back then, this isn't even Umar quite yet in his heyday, but here's what I mean by back then. He would pack out venues and there'd be all sorts of people there. This looks more like a Black conscious event, right? Not necessarily a professional. He would get on news shows. Okay, this was Miss Madeline or Madeline, WUSA 9 local television in Washington, D.C. Okay. That's his first book here. This looks like more like a Black conscious event right here. And I'm not saying that Umar wasn't a little bit off or goofy back then. He was goofy back then. But the point is that he he presented in a different type of a way. Okay. And here's another example of him speaking at Boston University. And that's also Dr. Boyce Watkins to Umar's right. But notice how Umar's dressed, suit and tie, right? Slacks, okay, hair manicured, beard manicured. Since this time, of course, Umar Johnson and Boyce Watkins, they've had beef and falling outs and so forth and so on. But this just gives you guys a little bit of background in terms of the history that going back to 2013. And Umar wasn't quite yet in his heyday, but this is a far away from what we see today, like what we saw yesterday.
Then the Prince of Pan Africanism is Leo season, is Garvey week, is Nat Turner week. I want to see all my South Carolina and my North Carolina Africans in Columbia, South Carolina. I said I want to see all my South Carolina and my North Carolina Africans in Columbia, South Carolina this Thursday, August the 13th, 6 o'clock, Columbia, South Carolina. And I want to see all my Jamaican Africans. Where my Jamaican Africans at? I want to see you in Kingston, Jamaica. The Prince is coming back. Kingston, Jamaica, Monday, August 17th. Marcus Garvey Solar Return, King Kong Consciousness, Kingston, Jamaica, at the Nation Lounge on Old Spanish Town Road, at the Nation Lounge, Old Spanish Town Road, Kingston, Jamaica, Monday, August 17th, 7 o'clock. It's Leo season. Where my Leos at? Where my Leos at?
Okay. Umar's still not in his heyday. Let me give you guys, I'm going to go back to 2014 now. He's still not quite in his heyday.
Done to see what type of liens, what type of taxes, what type of holds were put on that campus due to things not being up to par. Are you following me? Maybe they were cited for structural problems with the cafeteria. Maybe they were cited for the lead paint in the infirmary. We don't know, but we need to know, because even if we raise $2.5 million.
Okay, by the way, this is around the time that Umar started collecting money for the Saint, specifically for the St. Paul's College. Okay, he's into the scam by this point, but he's also getting into his heyday. Okay, you can look right here. I mean, it would be jam-packed. People standing up in the rafters, up against the wall, inside of the doorways. This is a long way away from where he's at today. And today he has become nothing more than a struggle streamer and a struggle speaker. The poll question for today: will Umar Johnson become a big-time speaker again? 14% said yes, 86% said no. Make sure you get your vote in during this live stream. My answer is no. I just think he's too far gone in the delusions of grandeur, and he's burned so many bridges, and people don't call him for speaking engagements like they used to. Back in the day, his schedule would be packed, but these days that's not the case. By the time we get to 2015, he's well into his heyday. Okay, he's collecting a lot of money. He's still attempting to present himself as a school psychologist. Here's a video from 2015.
Oh, we can win it. So you know how we can win it? We can win it when every black man starts showing black boys how beautiful and how honorable black women are. When our boys see us honoring their mothers and their sisters and their aunts and their grandparents, we can turn this overnight. This son got a problem with his mom. He thinks he's going to disrespect his mom. Now, you and his mom not together no more, but you know what?
Yeah, the irony is he has no respect for black women in the first place, including his baby mamas. He has at least 3 of them. He don't even take care of his kids, but he has everything to say about what black people need to be doing with their children and with their families. Where's Umar Johnson's family? Where's his wife? Okay, he's a sexual deviant out here running through all these women and sexually and financially exploiting him, and yet he talks this talk. Okay? The point is, around that time, Umar was in his heyday. All types of people would come out, professionals, people in the Black conscious space, Black conscious space, everyday Black people will come out and go check out Umar. These days, that's not the case, and that's what we're going to get into today from Umar, a recent lecture that he gave on August 3rd of 2026. Okay, and I can go on. I give you guys plenty of other examples, but he's falling off big time. All right. Okay, before I do this, let me get into these super chats real quick, and then we're going to get going here. Michael became a new member. Thank you so much, Michael. Good to have you back. I have to say, tomorrow we will be getting together members to do a members only live. It'll be a continuation from last week. We did one last week, and we're getting into part 2 of Cheyenne Bryant, and then also what is this guy's name? Well, he's something else. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Yeah, I can't remember. I don't have it written down here. But there's a correlation between her and this other guy who claims to be like a bishop and all these other different things, but it's a crazy mess. It really is. But we'll get into that tomorrow. I'll set that show up too late tonight. So members expecting a live stream this week tomorrow. So thank you again, Michael. Thanks for becoming a member again. Excuse me. Lil Sat says he's going to team up with WAC 100 and sell Pampers at his lectures. Yeah, I know who WAC 100 is. He's supposed to be Pyru, but the thing is, I have to say, it's a different time period, because when we was coming up, we didn't have the internet. And most people who was out there in them streets, they was just out there in them streets. We called it gang banging back in the day. I know that has different significance these days, okay, you guys, but back in the day, and it had nothing to do with anything, sexual, if you will. We called it gang banging. These days, it's interesting because there are people who maybe they are in the streets or they claim to be in the streets, but they be doing podcasts. It's like, but it's such a far stretch from how it used to be back in the day. Got gangbangers doing podcasts. I think if there was OGs from way back in the day, I'm talking about real OGs who was out there in the streets, I think that they would have probably taken offense to that, because it was different back then. It's like there was a certain kind of a code how you have to move and operate. And if social media was around back then, I think there was a lot of OGs would have been like, nah, we ain't doing that. But anyway, I know who you're talking about. WAC 100. Thanks, Lusuk. Aisha says, I will never look at sardines the same way. Thanks so lot. Yeah, that sardine video was crazy. Okay, and if you guys haven't seen it, I'll play it for you guys because it's short. I'll play it for you guys. Umar was on the Art of Dialogue, and he was talking reckless. He talking reckless anyway. Okay. Let me play this right quick, Aisha. And I've never had sardines, but I'm sure there's people in the chat room who have. After you see what Umar was, matter of fact, I'll play it a little bit later because I don't want to get blown off. Thank you, Aisha. But I'm sure once people see that, you won't think about sardines the same way. Umar, he's reckless. He sure is. Thank you, Aisha. Miss Vernica sent in 2 jewels. Thank you so much. It's a gold coin. I appreciate that. Did I open up another? Yeah, I did. Okay, here we go. That way, because I want to be able to see the jewels when they pop up on the screen. Thank you, Miss Vernica. Appreciate you. What's up, Techie Demagogue? 2 jewels and a silver star. Appreciate you, bro. CJ says, tonight's game, take a drink every time Lenon refers to Umar as a bum from Philly. No, I don't do that a lot. I kind of, when I go off, that's what I kind of do, especially when Umar is trying to behave or pretend as if he's something that he's not. And people got to recognize he's just a bum from Philly. When I say that, legitimately, he's a bum. Okay, if we go and look up a definition of a bum, let me go look this up. A noun meaning a lazy or idle person, someone who avoids work and relies on others. That's Umar. A vagrant or transient, an informal term for a homeless person with no fixed address who may beg for money. Okay, Umar's been homeless since the end of 2019, and he begs for money all the time. A recreational, okay, that's another way. That's let's see. Okay, and then a verb meaning to scrounge or borrow, to ask for something. Umar's always asking for something. That's why he always says, I need. Like a cigarette or a small amount of money with no clear plan to pay it back. To spend time idly without working and doing anything productive. That's Umar. Okay, going to go speak, that's not productive. It's just talking. Okay, actually doing something tangible and real, that's something that is productive. That's why I always say that Umar Johnson followers, they can't give me 10 tangible things that Umar Johnson has done or is doing. And that would be in line with doing something productive. They can't give me 10 things. Okay, running his mouth does not count. He's a bum from Philly. He lived off his mama in Section 8 housing. Okay, he's a parasite on his own mama at the age of 51. He's about to be 52. So when I say he's a bum from Philly, he literally is a bum from Philly. And he tells people that he's a school psychologist. Okay, he's not. Where does he work? He doesn't even have an office. He doesn't even have certifications, even though he tells people that he does. He doesn't hold any certifications. He doesn't have a job. He doesn't have a legitimate business. Okay, he could, like I was saying yesterday, he could use his social media to earn all kind of crazy money. But it takes work and it takes dedication and it's hard work. But Umar's lazy. He's simply a bum from Philly, right? Okay, thanks, CJ. Now, see that? I done said it a whole bunch of time already. Y'all probably drunk already. I'm just playing. Thanks, CJ. Lewis X says, Boyce looking like Poindexter in that video. Yeah. Back in the day, early Boyce Watkins he presented himself a particular way. These days, his social media, he has a social media desert. I haven't gone on his YouTube page in a long time, but he has a social media desert. What I mean by that is that he has a whole bunch of subscribers, but I think he admitted years ago, in a passive way, he admitted that he had bought subscribers because someone had asked him that, and he, in a roundabout way, he answered it, but I knew what he was saying. So he has hundreds of thousands of subscribers, but I've seen like there's videos that are getting like 400 views, 200 views. That's a social media desert. There's not much productivity that's going to come out of that. And part of the reason why with Boyce is that he spent quite a few years exploiting Black women on his channel. I'm just being real with it. He's exploited them on his channel and have them doing videos for him and all this kind of stuff. And then some, I know we talked about this yesterday, Maria or Lloyd, they were in some sort of a relationship, if memory serves me correctly, back in the day. And that's inappropriate because that's someone, she's supposed to be working on your platform and that kind of thing. And then what ends up happening is when these women would finally have enough, they would get online and tell the business. And so that happened over and over and over again. Paris Milan, Michi X. There's other ones too. I just can't remember everybody from back in the day. And what happens is that if enough of that takes place, people are going to start looking at you side eye. Same thing with Umar. People look at him side eye because of all the women that have come forward, including a stripper, to expose him. So I think that's part of the reason why Boyce has a difficult time maintaining a social media presence where it's actually productive and profitable. All right. And over the years, there's been so many different scandals that have come out of that. And it's very difficult to rebound, okay? Especially as you get older, because social media is, I'm older too, but social media it's younger people in general are the ones that, you are really, really into it. Okay, with a few exceptions. Okay. Thanks, Melissa, for the super chat. Okay, where are we at here? Oh, Randy says you called it weeks ago. He squandered everything. Yeah, I told people weeks ago because I remember we saw a meme, not a meme, but a post on Umar's Instagram page, and his Instagram page is also a social media desert too, because Umar's not making any money off of that, which is ridiculous because he has over 1 million followers. Okay, it's such a wasted opportunity, and Umar could be making money legitimately online as opposed to scamming with FDMG. Okay. And I don't have, what do I have, like 89,000? Yeah, 89,000 subscribers, but I make good money here on YouTube. Okay, there's people who watch like older videos that I've done. Okay, and then I have members, and then it's very active here with the super chats and the super stickers and all that kind of stuff. And then more recently, not as many views after the live streams, but that's because Umar's he's kind of like, this happened in January. He's really bogged down deeply in, if this makes sense, in the algorithm right now. And that may change, but who knows? It may be consistent for a couple more months. There's no telling. But the point is that I do quite well here, and this is just as part-time. Right, Umar, he could do the same thing, and even if he did it full time, I mean, literally, he would be making $150,000, $200,000 a year, and no scamming needed. Okay, no lying. He wouldn't even have to go lecture. He wouldn't even have to do that or get on podcasts. Okay, he can build up his own platform. But the point is that what Umar does is, because he's lazy, he'll go on other platforms instead of building up his own and making his own money. He'll go on other platforms, and they'll pay him. Okay. But it's pennies on the dollar compared to how much money they're going to receive. As an example, in most cases, as an example, the Art of Dialogue, he's going to make crazy money off of these Umar Johnson interviews. He pays Umar a small percentage. Umar takes that money. He goes back to Philly, and like the bum that he is, he tricks the money off. Okay, he has a substance abuse issue. And then I called it as soon as I saw that hit the one. As soon as I saw that he was going to be in the Art Dialogue, I said, listen, this is what's going to happen. He's going to go on the Art Dialogue. He's going to get paid. Art Dialogue going to get a gang of views. Umar's going to try to leverage that on his Instagram page because he does it all the time. He doesn't have his own platform. His Instagram page, it's a social media desert. He's going to get back onto, at a certain point, he's going to run through that money because that's what he does. Historically speaking, we've seen this happen over and over again. It's a pattern of behavior with Umar. And then what's going to happen is he's going to be forced to go back up there up to these trap bandos in Wilmington, Delaware, and beg for money. And I told people he's going to be looking like he's either smoked out or he's going to look like he's fiending or both. And that's why when Umar went live yesterday, he actually proved my point. And this happens every single time. That's why he was looking and sounding like this. Look.
Peace and Pan Africanism. This your big brother King Kong consciousness. Just letting you.
See, and he goes up there, he uses the backdrop of FDMG to get his followers excited. I call it the illusion of progress. And then he'll beg for money. And there are people who will send him money. He's been doing this since at least 2019. I can go back and pull up videos where he's out there in front of these trap bandos, and it's the same thing going all the way back to 2019. Real quick, let's think about this. Umar has been dependent on Black people now for at least 16 years. He started collecting donations for FDMG according to Black Dot in 2010. That would be 16 years of getting money for a school that doesn't exist. And he has to resort to begging up here in front of these trap bandos. And see, if Umar had podcasts lined up every single day, he wouldn't even bother to go up there. Because it's all about the money, because all of that money that he gets from these podcasts, that would be enough for him to sustain his self-destructive lifestyle. He got a lot of addiction issues. But because he doesn't have Art of Dialogue every single day, or The Breakfast Club, or Joe Budden every single day, or even what's this guy, Big Loon, it's up there podcast. Because he doesn't have that, when the money goes out, when the money goes away, he has to go back to what he was doing back in 2019 and prior, where he's begging for money in front of these trap bandos. And what I mean by prior is that Umar would spend time back in the day where he would stand out in front of abandoned buildings. Sometimes, most of the time, it would be schools that are abandoned, and he would beg for money. Umar's been doing this for such a long time. And that's the laziness factor, because that's the easiest way to get the most amount of money for Umar. But at this point, the money's not coming in like it is. So when like it used to. So when he gets these podcasts, they pay him out. He squanders that money, and he's already squandered everything else. And so he ends right back up here begging for money. And I called it, and then here we are yesterday. Yep. Thanks, Randy. Anton sent in 100 euros. Thank you so much, Anton. Miss Vernica says, it's really sad and sickening to watch this decline into desperation with Umar. He's been drastically reduced. Shake my head. He has. And that's one of it's a tragedy. I said that in the first documentary. He's a cautionary tale. There's a lot of lessons we can learn, even as Black men, that we can learn from Umar. Well, that sounds like counterintuitive because he's a bum from Philly. He's been scamming and scheming. He's a deadbeat. Don't take care of his kids. He be running through these women. He's exploiting Black women financially and sexually. He talking about he gonna open up a school for Black boys. He don't even take care of his own kids. Why do people think he care about somebody else's? He don't care about his own. It's ridiculous. So he's greatly reduced. What lessons can we learn though from the outside looking in? Umar's taught me quite a few things. You know, number one, you got to humble yourself, and he lacks humility. He's egocentric, he's narcissistic. He's a sociopath, in my opinion, borderline psychopath. He's a megalomaniac. You got to humble yourself. And if you don't, listen, the universe going to humble you. And the universe don't care. Don't care about your feelings or what you got going on. Umar taught me the importance of developing a plan. I've been running the plan now it's been close to a decade now, and I'm in such a better position in life than I was 10 years ago. I still got a long way to go, humbly. I wish I had my, got my shit together way earlier, but it is what it is. I ain't got a time machine, and I've been working hard. Okay, it's not just me and my wife. We work on our plan. Okay, day by day. Also, just to have ethics and morals and have respect. Have respect for people who've supported you. Umar has no respect for his donors. See, and the thing is that donation money was supposed to go for what? FDMG is supposed to be for a school for black boys. Most of that money has gone towards Umar, and none of that money has gone towards black boys. I want people to think about that, because we're talking about close to $3 million by now. He got to be around $3 million. He's been at this shit since at least 2010, according to Black Dot. I've had people say that they sent their money in 2009 for FDMG, 2000. I've seen people say 2008, 2007. In the documentary, I'm going to go with Umar's words, even though he says these days, he says 2014, but I have him on record where he posted, and I've already shown, I have the screenshots and everything, where he had received a donation in the form of land in San Bernardino, California. That was in 2012. He's been at this for such a long time, and not one black boy has been educated. Not one penny that he's collected has gone towards helping a black child. So as a consequence, all of the money has gone towards Umar. Well, he purchased these abandoned buildings. I heard people make this argument. You've heard it. He purchased these buildings. Okay, listen, they're bandos. They're traps because he get high up in there. But he didn't buy that for the boys or for the girls or for the children or to educate, because after 7.5 years, he would have already had done something with some kids, right? But has he done anything? The answer is no. He bought those bandos to extend the scam. It's that simple. It's nothing deep. People think that that's progress. All he did was took $400,000. That was, at that time, there should have been at least bare minimum $600,000 remaining. He takes $400,000 of other people's money to purchase these abandoned buildings that need millions of dollars of renovation work that needs to go into, and then all the rest of the money disappeared. And we're not counting 2017. We're not counting 2018 money he raised. We're also not counting 2010, 11, 12, and 13. We're just counting 2014, 15, 16, 17, and 18. That's it. Excuse me, 2014, 15. Yeah, that's all we count. No, 2014, 15, and 16. That's it. Because by that time, he said he's in $1 million going into January of 2017. So by the time we get to 2019, he throws down $400,000 of other people's money, and people act like that was an achievement. Where'd the rest of the money go? It's a scam. But what that does is he gets a reset. People got all excited. They sending him a gang of money. Oh, he's doing it. He's doing it. Just like when he does it so many times with the HVAC, getting the blueprints, more recently lying that the renovations are complete, and people do the same thing that they were doing back in 2019. Oh, yeah. No, this is just mind games for Umar. It's called the illusion of progress. And so back in 2019, he does that. And what does it do? It allows him to extend the scam for another 7.5 years. Think about that. He takes $400,000 of other people's money, pockets the rest of the money, which should have been in and around, well, it would have been at least 600,000, and we're not counting money that he collected in 2017 or 2018. So that could be closer to 800,000 that's just missing. He takes 400,000, but that enables him to collect donations for another 7.5 years. Now, if you can take $400,000 of other people's money, pocket the rest of the money, or trick off the rest of the money that he had received, but this enables you or Umar to collect money for another 7.5 years, would you do it? Absolutely. You put down 400,000 to collect another 1.5 million, $2 million. Would you do it? Yeah. Well, that's what he's done. Okay. And throughout this whole process, what do we see? We see the decline of Umar. I can go pull up. Let's do this real quick. Let's just go to 2019. Watch this. See, one of the lessons Umar, he hasn't learned, and we can all learn this lesson if we haven't learned it yet, is that if you're out here living shady and doing shady shit, there's always going to be a consequence, and things will not get better. Things will get worse. And that's what we've seen with Umar. The same year that he acquires these trap bandos is the same year that he gets evicted from his apartment in Philly. What does that tell you? You guys remember this video?
To bring us to where we are. We may not be in a great place, bro. Black History Month, February 2018. We finally signed the deal and closed the deal. So
Umar had an apartment back then. Okay, this was a filthy apartment though, where he flipped the phone and he's living in filth, right? But he had his own place back then. This is February. This is the school announcement. This was one of the biggest events. This maybe have been the biggest event in the whole Umar Johnson saga. Okay, you guys let me know. This may be the biggest event that took place in this Umar Johnson saga as it pertains to FDMG. But notice how Umar has his own place. Okay, he's not yelling and screaming and I mean, I'm not saying that he wasn't batshit crazy back then. I'm just saying that he at least he kind of kept his composure a bit. He was still talking reckless here, but just to see the deterioration in this guy from the time that he acquires these trap bandos in February 2019 to where he's at in August of 2026. This is not by accident. I mean, that's what I'm saying. There's lessons that we can learn from this.
In the tradition of the most honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey, who had the Black Star Line steamship company, which he incorporated 100 years ago. So the Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey Academy is coming 100 years on the 100-year anniversary of the birth of the Black Star Line Steamship Corporation. That was 1919, and here we are in 2019. That was 1919, and here we are in 2019.
Okay, so he makes the school an announcement that he acquired these abandoned buildings in Wilmington, Delaware. This is in February of 2019. The money started flooding in, which makes sense, right? The money starts flooding in. People have been waiting for such a long time, and GoFundMe got shut down because of fraud. GoFundMe started issuing refunds. Okay, Umar had been for years going through these random buildings saying that he's looking for a school and blah blah blah, and people were like, "This ain't happening." Biggest event that took place in this Umar Johnson saga as it pertains to FDMG was the acquisition of these trap banners in Wilmington, Delaware, February 2019. But what happens though? Money floods in because people get excited again. Just like when he says, "Oh, renovations are done in 2023," people get excited. Then when he says it again in 2026, people get excited, send him money. Then he does it again in 2026, people get excited and send him money. It's all manipulation. It's a bunch of foolishness. But notice what happens. In February 2019, he acquires these trap banners. The money starts flooding in. Umar doesn't have a plan. He continues to beg for money. And then he becomes homeless. I can pull up the paperwork and show it to you right now. He was facing eviction back in 2010 at the same residence, but he was able to resolve that. That's how I know that he lived there for at least 9 years. It could have been, he probably was living there before that, but I can verify as a statement of fact that, yeah, he was living there in 2010. But by the time we get to 2019, he gets evicted towards the end of the year. And it makes no sense, okay, on the surface level, follow me, because if you've already acquired these trap bandos and then people he gets a massive cash infusion in 2019. Why do you go homeless by the end of 2019? And the rent wasn't that expensive either. Well, that's because Umar, he doesn't have a plan. All this money floods in and he begins to indulge more and more. You see him live streaming inside a motel rooms, eating Twizzlers and shit, laying in the bed, lazy because the money's coming in. He ain't got nothing to prove now. He already has these trap bandos. He didn't care about opening up a school. He has trap bandos. He starts eating more, starts picking up weight. He starts tricking off money. He starts this money. He's getting smoked out in 2019. Donors don't realize that they've enabled Umar to self-destruct. It's his fault, but y'all enabled him. Just like some people enable family members who are hard dope fiends. Well, the same thing. Umar, he's a bum because he's a dope fiend. Umar has a gambling problem. He got all kinds of issues. So that's why Umar goes homeless by the time we get to 2019. And we're not even talking about the mental health issues here. But the point I want to make is, let me show you what happens. At a certain point, you don't see Umar live streaming inside of his dirty ass apartment where he got all these African artifacts like this.
Brothers and sisters, has mismanaged even a penny of the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy money. All the interviews that were done, not a single person asked the question of evidence. They were so happy to see that the
Okay, this is February of this February 2019. Here's May of 2019. He was still at this apartment.
strong alpha males send those resumes in. FDMG resumes at gmail.com. FDMG resumes at gmail.com. FDMG resumes at gmail.
See all this filth? So people who think he's going to open up a school, he can't even keep one room inside of his small apartment back then in 2019 clean. He's a hoarder. This is also indicative of mental health issues. See all this? This is not an isolated incident either, because he did this in 2020. By that time, he was living with his mama in Section 8 housing. He flipped the phone. He was living in filth too. Now, last year, he went inside the small gym or the large gym, and it was filthy in there too. He had took all of it. Once he gets evicted in at the end of 2019 from this apartment, he takes all of this filth and he just dumps it inside of the large gym. He's a hoarder. See, but you would think that if someone receives a major cash infusion in 2019 after he acquires these trap bandos, that this would not occur, that he wouldn't get evicted. But he ends up getting evicted, and this is where he's at. By the time we get to the end of 2019, he's homeless, and you start seeing him live streaming outside, inside of rental cars, inside of hotel motel rooms. Look at the guy. This is December. This is February.
Popular and the most powerful and the most successful.
He had his own place at least, but by this time, 10 months later, he's homeless.
Peace and love, black man. What's on your mind today? What's going on with all them killings? What's going on with all them killings in Philly, though?
I don't know. It's getting ridiculous. The number of
this is some sad
shootings, especially including the women and children as of lately. What do you think?
I'm gonna have to do something about that. I'm gonna start having some town hall meetings.
See, he ain't had no town hall meeting. He's just running his mouth. Like I said, he's a bum from Philly. And we can go year by year and see the decline in this guy. In fact, let's go to 2020. I'll pull up another video from 2020. It is sad, but we can learn lessons. You know, we if things aren't going right, okay, what do we need to do to change things to get back on the right track? Here's Umar when he was, by this time, he's living with his mama. This is in 2020. And he flips the phone on accident, and you see the same thing with the hoarder situation. See this? Okay, this is his mama's closet. He live streamed in. He flipped that phone, and it's the same thing that we saw when he flipped the phone when he had his own apartment. It's just he's a hoarder, and it's just filthy. There's a sack of potatoes in there in the right hand corner on the bottom. Y'all see that? This is a small space too. This is there's supposed to be a washer and dryer in there. Okay, this is 2020. Look at him, just living in his mama closet. You see the difference? Okay, this is the long way away from way back in the day when Umar would sell out venues, professionals would come to hear him speak. Okay, that was his heyday. But by the time you get to 2020, in 2019, he's homeless. He lives in and out of hotel and motel rooms. And then he finally settles and moves in with his mama. Now, people commenting on all the field. Listen to what he says.
Another one. Refolding my clothes, family. It's all natural. It's all natural. Just got a couple clothes I got to handle. Who tapping in?
You see that? This is not refolding clothes. Okay, there's oils in here. I don't know what kind of oil. Ain't no telling with this guy, but this isn't an issue. There's bags. Remember I was telling you guys yesterday how Umar, you rarely see him wearing the same clothes. See, he don't wash clothes like he's supposed to. He'll just throw it in the corner and then go buy some new ones. It's free money. It's other people's money. He has no skin in the game. So a lot of his stuff is sitting in bags. Let me show you one other thing, just to give an example. This is from 2025. So if you look in 2019, when he acquires these trap bundles, he would give tours to some of his goofies. And in this gym, you'll see that back in 2019, it's cleared out for the most part. There's a few things here, a couple of chairs here scattered about, but nothing significant. You guys see this? I mean, to get everything that we see in this video, to clear it out, for me, it would probably take me about 20 minutes. I know how to clean up. It'd probably take me less than 20 minutes. You know, stack all the chairs up, put them all away, any trash on the ground, but it's not much. But look at 2025. Let me mute this. See, this is his book. These are his books from his apartment that are all scattered about. None of this was there back in the day in 2019. That's because he still had a place in 2019. By the time we get to 2020, he's homeless. So he takes all of his stuff and he puts it in here. There's this right there behind the FDMG logo sign. It's like a great bookshelf. That's the same bookshelf you see when Umar's talking when he does a school announcement video. This is all of his stuff. See, pictures, picture frames, books. See, and notice that it's covered and layered in dirt and film and dust. That's because it's been sitting in here. By this point, it's been sitting here about 6 years. But the point I want to make is look at the gym in 2019 and compare it to 2025. See, this is the pattern of behavior with Umar. This also speaks to, mental health issues. He's a hoarder. He has no plan. There's all of his fitted caps. See, a lot of his stuff he just throws. He just throws it in boxes, throws them in bags. That red, black, and green shoe, he actually posted that on his Instagram page back in the day. We've got about 720 people in the building. If you're enjoying the show, hit the like button. And there's that big back TV. That's the same big back TV that we see when he flipped the phone. Same exact one. See, all this is from his apartment. Look.
Strong alpha males, send those resumes in. FDMG resumes at gmail.com. FDMG resumes at gmail.com. FD.
There we go. It's the same TV. Now, one thing I just want to point out, because I want to see all these bags. These are bags of clothes. These are Umar's clothes. See, that's why you rarely see Umar wearing the same clothes. Oh, first of all, they're not organized, so it'd be difficult for him to find, like, if I want to wear this specifically, he's not going to be able to find it because he got shit all over the place. Mama house, at these trap bandos, probably got some inside of the rental cars, at women's homes. I guarantee it. But you see all these bags? These are clothes. Bags are his clothes. He don't wash them. He just throw them in bags and he goes to buy new ones. All right, real quick. We did 2020. Let's go 2021. We'll do this real quick. 2021. I'm trying to find a video where he's in a mama closet. Yeah, we'll just do this. So this is one where Umar is inside of the trap bando. Yeah, he fell off big time. Blinking and shit. Probably gonna start sniffing.
Peace and black power, peace and black power. Peace and black power, peace and black power. Pan African power. Good Garvey Day. We call.
Okay, this is all performative to get money out of people. He used the school as a backdrop. He ain't doing nothing up there.
Call on the names of the ancestors for whom this prestigious campus will be named. We call on the most honorable Frederick Douglass, the most honorable Marcus Garvey, the most honorable Prophet Reverend Nat Turner. We call on the Emperor, the liberator of Haiti, Emperor Jean-Jacques Dessalines. We call on Amy Jakes Garvey, Queen Mother Amy Jakes Garvey, Queen Mother Anna Murray Douglas. This is the Prince of Pan Africanism. I'm coming to you inside of the Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey Academy. I said, I'm coming to you inside of the Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey Academy. This is the Marcus Garvey Elementary School. All of you who are donating, I want to thank you for all the new donors. Ever since the Breakfast Club interview, the donations have picked up. Ever since the Breakfast Club, the donations have picked up. Brothers and sisters, please keep on donating. Get on your Cash App, $FDMG School. Get on your Cash App, $FDMG School. Get on your PayPal, paypal.me/FDMG Academy. Get on your PayPal, paypal.me/FDMG Academy. I'm taking you on a tour. This is the Marcus Garvey Elementary School building. Across the street is the Frederick Douglass High School building. This is the Marcus Garvey Elementary School building. Across the street is the Frederick Douglass High School building. This is the this is the Honorable Marcus Garvey Elementary School building. Across the street is the Honorable Frederick Douglass High School building. Your campus, my campus, our campus has 4 buildings. This campus has 4 buildings. You are donating to the...
No, it's 3 buildings. But you see, this is all about getting money out of people. But you see the difference in Umar? Everything is about survival and trying to get money by this point. Living in his mama's section in housing, doesn't have a job, doesn't have a legitimate business. He has to get up here and beg. It's a long way away from where he was in his heyday. I want to play one of the things also real quick from 2020. So I'm going to turn it down a little bit. But this is a great example of Umar just being smoked out to the extreme and just tweaking out here. This is his Kobe Bryant rant. One of the worst, it's top 3 worst videos that Umar Johnson has done. But this is an excellent example of Umar and his fall from grace. Okay, because he looks so smoked. Look like he's been binging for a couple of days. Okay. So we did 2021.
Restoration of 4 buildings. You are donating to the restoration of the Nat Turner and Emperor Dessalines Gymnasium. You're donating to the Honorable Marcus Garvey Elementary School. That's where I am right now, the Garvey Elementary School. Across the street is the Frederick Douglass High School. We just
Okay, here's 2022.
doing the work, family.
Okay, notice how he's not doing any work.
Doing the work. Marcus Garvey Academy. We doing the work, family. Talk is cheap. You got to build results. Talk is cheap. You got to build results, family. Talk is cheap. It's all about the results. Live and direct. Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. Spring is here. We're trying to get the renovations together. Hit the Cash App, $FDMG School. Hit the Cash App, $FDMG School. Hit the...
See, it's just to get money. Okay, here's 2023.
Peace in Pan Africanism, peace in Pan Africanism. Peace in Pan Africanism, peace in Pan Africanism. Peace in Pan Africanism, peace and Pan Africanism. Hit the Cash App, $FDMG School. Hit the PayPal, paypal.me/FDMG Academy.
See, that's his main source of income. What is he doing? Boy, he fell off. Here's 2024.
Okay. Inventory of needs. Let's do an inventory of needs. Inventory of needs. Inventory of needs. We need black retreat locations. If you have your own black retreat territory,
You go 2025.
different numbers. I don't play them games. And because I didn't play your game, in less than 48 hours, you went to the internet. Because I didn't play your game, in less than 48 hours, you went to the internet. You was going to the internet anyway. You just needed an excuse. You were going to the internet anyway, but you needed a story to make it look like you wasn't an opportunist. You didn't want people to think you were shopping for clout. I want to meet my sister. You didn't want to meet her in high school. You didn't want to meet her on your 18th birthday. You didn't want to meet her when you was 21, but you just woke up a couple weeks ago.
And you guys know who he's talking about? Just diabolical. He's talking about his daughter.
You just woke up and said, I want to meet my other sister. While you call your sister Bees. Call that little girl a B-I-T-C-H. You going to be a role model for who now? You going to be a role model for who now? And then she says, I don't want anything out of you, just a conversation. We could have had a conversation for 12 years. I invited you to a conversation every time we text or spoke. I invited you to meet and you never followed through. How dare you lie on me like that? I just want a conversation. Why we didn't have the conversation when you texted me and said you was at Philadelphia radio, Word 900 AM. You said, Dad, I was at the radio station today. You remember that? About a year or two ago, you said, Dad, I was at the radio station. I said, when can I see you? When can I see you? And like always, you ghost and you just want a conversation. You are a liar. You did not want a conversation. You could have been had a conversation. Stop lying.
Damn.
And then she said, you should never be too busy for your daughter. When have I ever been too busy for you? When have I ever been too busy for you? You should never be too busy for your daughter. When have I ever been too busy for you? And that takes me to the evil vegan. Because the evil vegan put a post up a couple years ago. Baby mama number 2, the evil vegan, put a post up. And we're going to get to her in a minute. And she said, he doesn't see his daughter, and I'm paraphrasing, but she said, because somebody sent it to me. It was on her Facebook, I think. And she said, he doesn't see his daughter because he's too busy running around the world saving black people, something like that. And then she said, he has failed to keep his appointments with his daughter. Baby mom number 2, evil vegan. When did I ever have an appointment with my daughter? Baby mom number 2, evil vegan. When did I ever have an appointment with my daughter? When did I ever have an appointment with my daughter? So you've been lying just like Mama Smurf. Both of y'all been lying to the world, telling them I don't want to be bothered because you don't want to tell the truth. He didn't marry me, so I didn't want him around. You will be with both of us, or you will be with neither one of us. That's what Mama Smurf told me. Mama Smurf said, you will be with both of us, or you will be with neither one of us. And then Baby Smurf says, my mama didn't want to marry you. Tell your mom to swear on the Bible. Baby Smurf, go get the Bible. Go get your Bible. And tell your mother to put her hand on that Bible. Tell your mother to put her hand on that Bible. And tell her to swear that she never told your father you will be with both of us or neither one of us. Tell her to take it to the Bible. Your mother is a Christian. Tell her to swear on the Bible that she didn't tell me you will be with both of us or neither one of us. And then you said, when I get married, will you walk me down the aisle? When I get married, will you walk me down the aisle? When I get married, will you walk me down the aisle? Baby Smurf, if you are marrying a man that I approve of, I will walk you down the aisle if you would like. If you marry a man, I understand that you have been drafted into the Rainbow Army. I don't agree with that at all, but I love you as my child. It will not.
Yeah, this is horrible. The thing is that he was a deadbeat. He was an active participant in their life. Okay, by the time I think she was 10, he was completely absent. No, I think about 7, I think it was. Memory serves me correctly. Anyway, this just goes to show you the decline of Umar. And then, of course, in 2026, he's back out here begging for money for a school that doesn't exist. Nothing's changed. Thanks, Ms. Vernica. And we got blowed off. Black Mars says, Lenon, pull up the video with Umar in the wig. Yeah, I was just looking for that. I have the pictures. I couldn't find that video, though, for some reason. We played it, I think, maybe 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. And what this is Umar, and I wish I had the full video. If anyone has it out there, you send it to me. I'll cash up you $50. The Team Pan African 10-year anniversary weekend. This was September 18th through the 21st of 2015, Frederick Douglass Resource Center. And Umar, he was playing the role of Frederick Douglass. Now, I have screenshots of the actual performance that he gave, but I don't have the actual video. But these are some of the pictures associated with him and the wigs and stuff like that. Yeah, there's another one too where he has on this wig. I would have to find it. Yeah, this guy, he's diabolical. He's not related to Frederick Douglass at all, but this is part of his delusion. And he goes through extremes. Yeah, I wish I could remember what video that was. I'll keep looking for it during this live stream, Black Mario, but I played it a couple of weeks ago. Thank you, Black Mario. I was looking already. Thank you so much for the super chat. 100% Redman sent in 10 jewels. Thank you so much, Gold Coin. Lewis says Umar would be one of those homeless people that would ask you for money for something to eat and get mad if you get mad at you for buying the food and not giving them money. Yeah. Because a lot of times, they'll say, "Yeah, I need this because I'm hungry," and you feel bad, so you give them the money, but that's not what they want the money for. A lot of times, it's for drugs, right? In essence, though, this is Umar because most of the money that he spent, it hasn't gone towards FDMG, and none of the money has gone towards helping Black children. But I know a lot of money has gone up his nose. Well, I shouldn't say nose. I'll just say he has a substance abuse issue. A lot of money has gone towards that. Okay. That's another reason why Umar's deterioration, a lot of it has to do with that. See, because he has to have money so that he can get supply for that particular addiction. He has other addictions too. But if you have money coming in at an alarming rate, you don't have any level of discipline, you have no intention on opening up a school. You don't even know how to open up a school. That's why we're here 7.5 years later. He hasn't started anything yet. Well, what's going to happen over time is Umar is going to start using that money to continue to indulge in things. And he indulges, and that's been part of the reason why he's declined in the way that he has. Mentally, physically, and otherwise. Thank you, Lewis Luck, for the super chat. Sassy sent in 440 jewels. It says, Uncle Earth. Thank you so much, Sassy. I appreciate that. Chris Robinson says, boy, almost here, wife 33 weeks. Your baby boy is almost here, wife 33 weeks. Pray. Okay, yeah. Let me see. Let me just get this just to see. So 33 weeks. Okay, so 7.5 months. Okay, you got some time. Okay, just take some deep breaths. Everything gonna be okay. And enjoy the ride. Okay, and what happens is, that especially for the first one. I don't know if this is your first one, but you learn a lot the first time. And there's all types of things you learn. It's about it's part of your maturation process as a husband and as a father. And then if you have another one, same thing, another one, so forth and so on. But yeah, that first one, if this is your first one, it can be stressful, but it's going to be okay. Okay? It's going to just be supportive of the mama as much as possible, especially as you get towards that deadline. Okay, you got to be as supportive as you possibly can. Yeah, I miss those days. I remember like even simple stuff like my wife need to take a shower or take a bath, and I would have to help her to get in the shower and that kind of stuff, or her lower back be hurting, so I would massage that. And I miss those days. To this day, when we sleep, I'll always I don't even think about it, but I always put my hand on her belly. But that's because when the baby we was having these babies back in the day. It's been a long time. We was having these babies back in the day. I would always put my hand on the belly, because the baby's there. And so here we are all these years later, and I still do it. Anyway, enjoy the ride and enjoy this time because it's going to go by quickly. Everything's going to be just fine. It's going to go by very quickly. And at a certain point, you'll start reflecting back and you will miss certain things. Like we have neighbors and their kids, their stuff is scattered about all the time. And, there's walkways and there's stuff in front of the walkway. I'm like, hey, I actually miss when our children used to do that. And we used to go behind them and pick stuff up. Well, we don't have that anymore. Okay. But I miss those times, and I remember it was rough back in the day for us too. It was rough, especially financially. Okay? My fault. But I still miss those days because you don't get them back, and those are precious times. So enjoy every single moment of it, okay? And that includes with your wife. And when the baby comes, do everything that you can to continue to support your wife, and also do everything that you can for the baby. Okay, and I'm assuming that you're male because it says Chris here. Okay, because it could be the woman saying, "Hey, listen, the baby's coming." Okay, all right. I will, Chris, I will pray for you and your family, okay, after this live stream. Okay, everything's going to be just fine. Okay? Enjoy every moment, including the stress. Okay, enjoy that too. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but enjoy it. Okay. All right. Thanks, Chris. That's awesome. I love to hear it. I sure do miss them days. KJ says he's not lazy. If he works Instagram legitimately, he will have to pay child support and he doesn't want to pay. Yeah, you're right. And I forgot about that. So I'm negligent. I apologize for that. But the truth is he's lazy too. He's lazy because if you can pay child support and you can make money to pay child support, but you decide not to, make that money, that's a form of laziness too. But really what he's attempting to do, and you're absolutely right. What he's attempting to do, I've talked about this in the past. What he's attempting to do is to not have any record of him receiving income on paper legitimately because it's going to be subject to child support and wage garnishment. They call it attachments. And you see that early on in his child support docket when he was working, but then you don't see it. You start seeing generic orders, and then every once in a while, he'll work for a couple of months, it'll pop back on there. And we can track it year by year because he ain't been supporting his children for at least 22 years now. 22 years. Yeah. But you make an important point, KJ Rock. Umar, if he worked Instagram legitimately, he's going to get paid out. Or if he worked Facebook, or if he worked TikTok, or if he worked YouTube, he's going to get paid out, and it's going to be subject to wage garnishment. But Umar doesn't want that to happen because he doesn't want to pay child support. See, Umar, he has structured his life. And real quick, people are going to say, oh, well, what about all the donations? Yeah, the way that he has that set up, it's under a nonprofit. Okay, so it's a separate entity. It's a 501c3. It's a separate entity. Okay, he structured this way. And on the paperwork, when he files with the IRS, he's telling the IRS that he doesn't pay himself. In other words, as a person, he's not receiving any income. So there's no taxation of his income, because on paper, he doesn't have an income. And there's no wage garnishment on his income because on paper and legally, he doesn't have an income, even though he's received millions of dollars and most of the money he spent on himself. That's diabolical. And Umar does that, like you're saying, and it's in part, he does that because he doesn't want to have to pay child support. He wants to be able to pay the minimum amount of child support. And what that means is, it's I can't remember the term right now. I have it in a documentary. It's the minimum requirement that you have to pay if the court can't find employment, so they can garnish your wages. What do? They go with a percentage of minimum wage, and in this case, minimum wage in Pennsylvania. Okay, what is minimum wage in Pennsylvania right now? Just diabolical. He's collected millions of dollars. Most of the money he spent on himself, but he doesn't want to support his children financially. It's $7.25 per hour. Umar could easily be making $100 an hour on social media. Easily. But like you said, and this is a great point, KJ, if he did that legitimately, he's going to be subject to child support, wage garnishment via the child support. That's diabolical. And again, he'll tell black people what we need to be doing with our kids, and you all ain't shit, and blah, 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 blah. And you black men, you need to do this, you need to do that, respect the black queens, but he don't even take care of his own kids. He doesn't even support them financially. And that's the bare minimum that we should do. That's the bare minimum. We're not even talking about spending time with the children, raising the children, guiding the children. And it's rough. It's difficult, especially these days. Especially with social media, all this foolishness all over the place. When we was growing up, it was difficult too, I'm sure, but we didn't have a lot of this shit that these kids got to deal with nowadays. Social media is a problem for these kids. Anyway, thank you, KJ. This is a great point. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Blue Man became a new member. Thank you so much, Blue Man. I appreciate you. Apicon said it sent the 250 jewels to, MVP. Thank you so much. By the way, Russell Westbrook, he retired today, and he had a great career. He will go into the Hall of Fame. He never won a championship, but he had a great solid career. Okay, he retired today. Salute to him. Thank you, Apicon, for the jewels. I appreciate it. And also, I think I missed somebody. Who's this? Mary Henry. Thank you so much, Mary Henry. High five to you. I appreciate that. 100 jewels. Thank you so much. Let me make sure I didn't miss anybody else. And I always have to thank people because y'all don't have to do this. I appreciate the support. I really do. Thank you guys. My dog, he's barking because there's people. Oh, I left that door open. That's why. Let me close this. Y'all don't mind? Let me close this door because did I leave that open or somebody go out there? I got the air conditioning on and the door open, and my puppy can hear people outside. That's why he's going crazy. Yeah, they walking their dog. We have all these nature trails and stuff out here, so people walking their dogs. And my dog, he can hear like other dogs walking. The windows can be all closed, but he can hear them walking. They're like, what is he barking at? Then you see like 30 seconds later, a dog walk by. He's such a weirdo. Okay, thank you, Mary Henry, for the 100 jewels. And let me just make sure before I proceed, I got everybody. Okay, I got everybody. Okay, make sure you guys vote on the poll too, okay? Subliminal message says, Lenon, thank you for your efforts with informing the community on Umar's antics. I can't help but chuckle when you say megalomaniac. What am I saying it wrong? Megalomaniac. I might be, you know me, I'll be, I can't megalomaniac. Okay. And megalomaniac, it's a person who has an extreme and unhealthy obsession with power, control, wealth, paired with inflated delusions of their own personal greatness and importance. That's Umar. But it's also tied to narcissism, because narcissists, they have these delusions of grandeur and they think that they're so important. So an extreme or unhealthy obsession with power, control, and wealth. And see, power and control with Umar for sure. But people could argue, well, he's not really obsessed with wealth because he's living in poverty. Well, the thing is that he lives in poverty because of his lifestyle. He has all these different addictions and he's lazy. Okay. But in terms of the amount of money that he has received in donations alone, he actually should be wealthy. We're talking millions of dollars. And see, if we just look at the donation money and set that aside, and if Umar maximized on his social media, like I said, he would be making, he could easily be doing $200,000 a year, easily. And I know people say, oh, well, okay, no, easily. He could be doing $200,000 a year, but he would have to work. But again, like the brother was saying earlier, he doesn't want to be subject to taxation. He doesn't want to be personal tax. He doesn't want to be subject to wage garnishment. I've talked about that in the past, but I just forgot about it. But it's such a great point, and thank you for bringing that up here. So what I'm saying is that Umar, even though he lives in squalor, he lives in poverty, in terms of the amount of money that he has received, he should be at least rich. And if, in addition to that, he maximized on his social media, he should be really rich. Okay, millions of dollars for the FDMG school scam. He's bringing in $200,000. Just, you can scale that up even further over time. But $200,000 a year dealing with social media. He's doing lectures legitimately, right? He's doing the books and he's speaking at different places. He's doing the podcast. This guy, this guy could be $400,000 a year. Okay, but it would take a lot of work. So that's what I mean by in terms of the potential that he has. Yeah, over time he could have been wealthy. But for him, power and control is also about being able to get money out of people because he associates money with power and control. Right. So that ties to this idea of wealth. It's just as backwards with Umar because he lives in poverty, he lives in squalor. But that's because of his self-destructive lifestyle, and he's tricked off so much money. I mean, millions of dollars at this point. He's tricked off because you even think about what he could have earned as a school psychologist if he stuck with it from 2000 to 2026, and if he did it for 26 years, how much money would he have made during that time period? Okay, he could have still been doing the lectures when he's not working at a school because school is not year-round, right? He could have been doing side work on the side, get other certifications so that he can license. He can get a different license, so he can do different things. And then on top of that, he can be speaking, selling his books, doing the podcast, and then running a social media. Anyway, it's like we were saying earlier. This guy's downfall. You guys, I gotta say something too. By the way, I saw this video of young Pharaoh. It's sad, y'all. See, a lot of the individuals that were in that Black conscious space back in the day, and you look at their trajectory, it's sad. Thank you, subliminal message. You coming by? Okay, let me just turn this way, baby. Go ahead. You're taking puppy out because he acting up. It's just sad, and everyone has their day. And unfortunately, with young Pharaoh, he's fallen so far. It's just sad to see because he's younger. You know, he's not that young now, I don't think. Thank you, subliminal message, for the super chat. I hope I'm saying that. Megalomaniac. I hope I'm saying it the right way. How old is young? Y'all want me to play the video because I downloaded it. Young Pharaoh. It's just sad. He's 32 now. Yeah, he's 32 now. Wait, no, that's somebody else. Is that him? Yeah, that's him. That's what they say. He's 32. Yeah, but he's been around a long time in the Black conscious space. Okay, you want me to play? Yeah, how's it going, Crystal? Yeah, I'll play it. It's just sad. It is so sad to see. And I remember he came up on a gang of money, and his social media was big time, and it was all downhill from there. It's just so sad. Let me play this for you guys real quick. Because I remember back in the day, I would say to myself, okay, he still has time to get things together. And I was hoping that he would. It's just that there's a point of no return. And I'm not saying that he's reached that. I'm just saying it's here. Let me show y'all.
Smack this head. You on that toilet. Bro, get low for you. The Holy Ghost, and this is serious. Seriously, and I'm in here getting Flick-rella. Sexy-rella on y'all hoes. Yes, coming with them cheetah-rellas. Don't worry about my birthday. This ain't gonna be, but this is the test. It's the spirit of a cat. Why? Because I channeled something the other day, and this is what influenced. Well, one of the things that influenced me besides myself, Jabon. So, half killer in me, half pimp, half samurai, half cheetah-rella. And with that being said, I'm getting my shit done. This is the vlog-rella. I got my shit retwisted and I got linked up. Right, and I'm sexy-rella. So, I know how I'm rocking. I got to get used to having these though, so I don't my damn face. I'm sitting there. It wasn't. I know exactly what you're talking about. I like these.
Yeah, I don't know, y'all.
Sexy, it's gonna come out sexy. And y'all know I had to go to my favorite, the Asians, my favorite. So, I'll show y'all the finished results. I'm gonna go out for a little bit. You're gonna see if it's busting. If not, I'm a parking lot pimp, outside pimp till I bounce. Got me a stripper pole. See what's chopping. So, make sure I can still play.
I haven't listened to what he said. I just saw the video with the nails. I didn't even watch it. Did he say he got a stripper pole?
Parking lot pimp, outside pimp till I bounce. Got me a stripper pole. See what's chopping.
Yeah, it just sounded like he said he got a stripper pole. What in the world?
So make sure I can still play the game.
Yeah, this is from the other day. Someone said, "What year is this?" Oh, my mama, this is from the other day.
All right, I can still whoop y'all ass. That's all that counts. That being said, it is what it is. It ain't what it ain't. How? All right, y'all. We halfway through. Sexarella. These them Sexarellas, and they came out exactly how I envisioned them in my mind. I'm telling y'all right now, it was
Oh man.
either gonna be this, shark teeth, or yellow viper scales. And don't nobody better steal my yellow viper scales, because I'm still coming out with those, them yellow vipers. So don't steal my shit. But with that being said,
What did he said? Yellow viper scales. What is that?
I'm finna start popping my shit to y'all. Yes, sir. Finna start popping my shit to y'all hoes. Let's go. That tight.
Feed my father if he's starving in his.
Yeah, I can't call it, y'all. Like normally I'll have words like I can to try to make it make sense or to find some kind of redemption. I even still do, even to this day, I still did that with Umar, but with this, it's just, I'm so confused. I don't even know what's going on. I have no clue. This is from the other day, and then he did a follow-up on right here.
Seriously, I'm out at Chipotle right now with them stingers on. Swag, brother. It is what it is. I'm in Detroit. What's up? I'm getting ready to go back to the crib, stream on Star Wars Battlefront 2. If you stream on Star Wars Battlefront 2, pop on, and pop off. Because that's what's about to happen. And with that being said, I see y'all there. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. It's the Holy Ghost. Bro, while I'm at Chipotle right now, I left my damn phone stand in that damn house. But that's okay, because I'm gonna just hold this vlog. Ain't gonna be that long, but I got me a veggie bowl. What? That is not water. You got me a veggie bowl. It's about to go down right now.
Yeah, he's 32. He can still turn this around, y'all. He's 32.
So let's get to it.
Feed my father if he's starving in his.
Yeah, I can't call it. I have no words. I don't. I truly don't. All I can say, because I always try to think of like, okay, well, what can a person do? Because we all fall short. I've fallen short too. I've worked really hard over the last decade to get things turned around. I wasn't at Chipotle with nails or anything like that, but we all fall short. He's 32. He has time. He needs help. And clearly, because based upon, I haven't watched any of his videos in years. I never used to watch them, but there was stuff that was going on years ago too. And you could tell that there's issues with substance abuse and there's issues with mental health. Same thing with Umar. A lot of these individuals, by the way, that were in the Black conscious space back in the day, and back in the day, he was really young when he came in onto the Black conscious space, because he was associated with Assad Netter, Sarah Suit Seti, Umar. I have a video where Umar, he was disparaging young Pharaoh because young Pharaoh was talking about Umar living in filth. I think he did. Remember I played Umar flipped the phone? Yeah, I think young Pharaoh did a video on that. He was one of the first people to do a video on that. Someone said, get my nails done. No. And again, it's 2026, so it's a different time period. It really is. If one of my sons did something like that, let's say if they got a manicure or something, I probably wouldn't say anything. I probably would say something, but it'd probably be like in jest. But if they got like cat nails or something, I was like, what the fuck? What's going on with you? Just to see what's going on. I said, and I already told my kids, I said, if any of y'all gay or lesbian or bisexual, I'm gonna love you anyway. I already told them that. So they know that about me. And back in the day, I probably would have been, mean-spirited about, but I'm a changed man. Okay, it's 2026. I'm gonna love my babies no matter what. Don't make me no difference. Just don't get with no stupid person or some dummy. Okay, now would I prefer them to, yeah, I would prefer that they had, I'm just being real about it. But if they was gay, bi, or lesbian, I'm gonna love you anyway. I'm not tripping. Okay, I had to grow into that, with wisdom. But what I'm seeing here with it's just too far. I don't know what's going on with young Pharaoh, but he's 32, and I know people would say, well, he's an adult. I understand, but he has time where he can get things turned around, and hopefully he does. He needs mental health services too. Okay, I think he needs substance abuse issues, and he needs mental health services. But there are a lot of people from back in the day in the Black conscious space. A lot of them, when they came through Sodnetter and the House of Consciousness, that including Umar, that they've gone downhill, like we were talking about earlier, with Umar and the deterioration. Where young Pharaohs is another case study. And it's really sad. Yeah, and I wished I had words to kind of make that make sense, but I don't. I don't know if there's anyone in the chat room that can make it make sense. Again, like I said, we all get lost and we all fall short. It's part of life. It's just sad to see someone who came onto the scene. He was really young when he came onto the scene, and he had a gang of support, and he was making crazy money on YouTube. And then he came up on a gang of money. I can't remember what it was for. I think it was trying to sue YouTube or something like that. It was something like that. And then it just was all downhill from there. Sometimes money, it allows people to do the types of things that they always wanted to do, but those things are unhealthy. See, these last 3 years, I've made crazy money. Okay, and I shouldn't even say it that way, but I've made a significant amount of money between my day job and then doing YouTube part-time. But all that money's gone towards my family. You guys ain't seen me driving in a fancy car. Because I remember even young Pharaoh, he had bought like a Ferrari that was all, I mean, it was, it was painted and everything. I think it was a Ferrari or something like. You're not gonna see me do stuff like that. It's everything goes to my household. And personally, I don't have much. I really don't. Okay, it goes to these babies, a gang of kids. Anyway, the point that I'm making is that for other people, they come up on money and then they start to indulge, including Umar. And that's why Umar is where he's at today. And in part, that's why young Pharaoh is where he's at today, because back then when he came up on all that money, and people were saying that he was homeless and all this other stuff at a certain point. It's just sad. Okay. Thank you again, Subliminal Message. Yeah, Subliminal Message 78. The Spike Spiegel says, did I miss the zebra cake giveaway, the cakewalk? I manage AI servers. Oh, congratulations. You manage AI servers now. I'm involved, evolving as an IT pro. We work. Okay, congratulations. Yeah, congratulations to the Spike Spiegel, who's progressing in their IT career. Yeah, so AI servers. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, you want to tell me what kind of specs you're dealing with? What kind of? Because I'm into specs and stats. My computer is a beast. It's not a beast, okay, but it ain't running no AI. I tell you that right now. It would be nice. Anyway, congratulations and keep rising. That's awesome. Okay, and then Top Flight sent in a super sticker and also says Garvey was a scammer too. Do your research. Yeah, people have said that. I haven't researched him enough. He did go to jail too for I think it was mail fraud. Went to jail for, and then he ended up being deported. Yeah, he was convicted of mail fraud in 1923 related to the sale of stock for the Black Star Line, a shipping passenger company run by his organization, Universal Negro Improvement Association. The Black Star Line was a failure, just like Umar Johnson's Trap Bandits and Woman Dealer. They're a failure too. He collected donations for a long time. Marcus Garvey, Umar did the same thing. And that's what I said. One of the things Umar would get hemmed up with would be mail fraud, in addition to tax evasion. Okay. He was convicted in federal court in New York after a trial regarding stock promotions for the financially struggling Black Star Line, sentenced to 5 years in Atlanta federal penitentiary, entering prison in February of 1925. Supporters and historians long argued that the prosecution was politically motivated by the U.S. government to suppress the Black nationalist movement. And then he was released. President Calvin Coolidge commuted his sentence in November of 1927. So he spent about 2 years and a half, 2.5 years in prison, released from prison and immediately deported to Jamaica. And then he received a posthumous presidential pardon. That happened recently. And then I think he actually moved to the UK, if memory serves me correctly, and then he passed away there. Yeah. So, but I haven't researched him enough. I will say this to call him a scammer, okay? Because I haven't researched, so I'm not going to do that. I can say that about Umar with absolute certainty, but I will say this: a lot of people don't notice that when he made the school announcement, he had acquired these trap banners in Wilmington, Delaware. He was talking about giving his donors spiritual stock certificates. You guys remember that? Hit the one. Okay, what's a spiritual stock certificate? You see, they're gonna print them out. You can put them on the wall, but they're not. There's no value in it. Okay, he's a scammer. Umar's a scammer. Okay. Thank you, Top Flight TV. Big J sent in a silver star, 2 silver stars. Thank you so much, 2 Jules. I appreciate that. Van Varner says he homeless because he's out here paying for BBLs. Yeah. Now, let me say this. Let me take that back because James is here, right? James, are you here? Let me know inside the chat room. So, Umar was dealing with a young lady who he had hired to come take care of his mama, and she alleges that they were intimate. We covered this, I think, 2 weeks ago. She also did a video and she was interviewed and she was telling all the business, but she also did a video and because James sent it to me where she went to Colombia to go get he's in there. Okay, James, correct me if I'm wrong. She went to Colombia to go get work done on her body. Okay, I don't know exactly, because I didn't watch the whole video, but you sent it to me, but I knew what was going on because she was walking around talking about she's gonna get this and that done. I don't know exactly what she was getting done, but from what I understand, when she stated in the interview, she was being interviewed that she needed emergency money, that's what the emergency money was for. So I must make that statement, and I'm gonna let James correct me on that inside the chat room, and then I'll read your comment. Okay. Yeah, emergency funds. Yeah, but was it for that particular thing to go get body work done? That's what I'm asking. Yeah. So spiritual stock, is he going to need funds to train it? Yeah, he gonna train some black Ghostbusters for the spiritual stock certificate. All right. What's up, Jimmy Jamboree? Does emergency hooker money? Oh, no, don't say that. Emergency hooker money. I don't know why that's so funny. All right. Shout out to Jimmy. Emergency BBL. I don't know. I don't know. Okay. So I'm waiting for James. He got the 411 on that. Okay. All right. So where were we? Oh, let me finish up with these super chats. Then we'll get to the main video. Yesterday I ran my mouth, and here we are again, just running my mouth. It is. What is an emergency BBL? That's wild. Okay. It takes money to install. All right. Okay, that's beyond the scope for me. All right. Appy Khan sent in a gold coin. Thanks so much. Unify says he spent all his money on sea moss for bump. All right. Unify says, do Umar Johnson fans not know he looks like a dusty? Well, he's an international hobo. That's what I call him. Okay, because back in the day, hobos would be on like they would catch trains to get to place. But Umar, he just catch airplanes, right? And rental cars. Okay. Thank you, user 225. Okay, did James respond in here? Okay. Okay. Let's see here. Van Varner says he snorted up the money and tricked off the rest. Yeah, and it's not just that though. You look at his travel, you look at clothes, you look at gambling. Listen, gambling as an addiction, there's no telling how many tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars that Umar Johnson has tricked off gambling. Because we're talking over the course, let's just go from 2014, we're talking over the course of 12 years. There's no telling how much money that he's wasted on gambling. Slot machines, I have video evidence of that. He also has posted about betting on sports games. Okay, and of course, the Philadelphia 76ers, they got LeBron now, and then they got Jaylen Brown. So they have a team that should compete. Okay, they should compete for a championship. There's no telling how much money Umar is going to trick off this year with donations for that. FDMG donation money being directed towards that particular addiction. He has a food addiction too. Okay, again, traveling the world, clothes, shopping, all that kind of stuff. There's no telling. Yeah, tricked off a gang of money. Thank you, Van Varner. East Point maybe says resumes before renovations are done. And yeah, resumes before renovations are done is nuts. Let me tell y'all something. Umar was collecting resumes back in 2010. But you guys know that? But you make a great point, Point. Umar's been collecting resumes for a school that does not exist and still does not exist. Why would you collect resumes when you don't have no jobs available? Has anyone ever seen a job description? Wait a minute. Has anyone ever seen a job description anywhere for FDMG? That's one I ain't never thought about. Is there anyone in the chat room or anyone who may watch this in the future? We got about 820 people in here. Make sure you hit that like button. Our goal is 400 likes. Has anyone ever seen a job description for a position at FDMG? James says she had all raw cash shoulder. James, you tripping. James, don't do that. I don't have the video. I don't have it. I didn't download that one. I said, that's too much for me. I mean, if y'all want, James, you want to send me a link to it? No, I don't want to pull that up. I don't want to do that because I don't know what she may say something on there that's incriminating or something because she's out there and you could tell she's in like a little facility and she's about to get the work done. I don't want to show. You say she had all raw cash. That's crazy. Oh man, yeah, I've never seen it. Welcome, Afrocentric woman. I've never seen Black Ramble instructors. What's up, Enterprise? Salute, sir. I've never seen Umar post a job description for FDMG, but he's been collecting resumes for FDMG, different related FDMG projects since at least 2010. I should pull up the first one I found. It was in 2010. I told my wife, I said, it's like the universe is conspiring so that I don't get any sleep. She was like, what do you mean? I said, because if I try to and I haven't slept right in like 3 years. Real talk. I rarely get, over these last 3 years, I rarely get 8 hours of uninterrupted sleep just because of my work schedule and everything else I got going on. And I said, it's always something. Oh, I thought I got a text, but it's saying I need to install. And I'm not going to do that right now. I need to cut it out. Oh, wait, this is my wife. What are you talking about? I'm sorry. Hold on one second. I don't know what she's saying. Oh, okay. Let me. Yeah, I apologize. Hold on one second, everybody. My wife, she's. Okay, I apologize. This is important. Yeah, 2 of our children are going back to school next week. So we got to go do school shopping and eyeglasses. So I apologize. Okay, I apologize, but I had to answer my wife because I don't want to worry about that. Okay. Where are we at? Yeah, so I haven't seen any job description. I apologize to people. I normally try to stay on target with the show, but tell my wife is I'm going to put her at ease. Okay. Thank you, East Point. Oh yeah, let me show you this. Let me go pull this up right quick. So let's go to 2010 because he's been collecting resumes for 16 years and there's no job position. So why is he collecting resumes? Well, it's to get intelligence on people, get information about them. Yeah, I think this is it right here. Look at this. March 3rd of 2010, Umar Abdullah Johnson is looking for young black males, high school, 14 to 17 years, to work in the FDMG aftercare and summer camp for black boys this spring/summer. I'm also looking for black males interested in teaching at the FDMG school for black boys. Must have a bachelor's degree, squeaky clean child abuse clearance with no felonies on the state FBI clearance. FBI criminal. Email resume and clearances to Umar Abdullah Johnson at yahoo.com. No sisters. So even as far back as 2010, he's requesting resumes for a school that does not exist. And then here we are in 2026, August 12th of 2026, and there's still no school, and he's still collecting resumes. And renovations aren't even done. He didn't even have a building back in 2010. So yeah, it is nuts. That's wild. Thanks, East Point. CJ says a dilapidated and mold-infested structure glossed over by cheap paint is also a great way to describe Umar's mental state. Yeah, absolutely. And that's what he's done. Shout out to Enterprise. He showed the video from a couple of days ago where he went up there, and those buildings look horrible on both sides of the street. And the only thing that Umar Johnson has done on the exterior is he's painted over, in some places, he's painted over mold and mildew and dust and grime and dirt, because he didn't prep any of that before he painted. And then you go on the inside. It's these bandos. Their renovations are not complete. Umar knows that. That's why he hasn't gone through and showed everything. He knows that, and he knows that it's not going to pass inspection. In point of fact, we were watching the video where one of the times where he said the school was renovated completely this year. He stated that. And if you look on the floor, you'll see that it's warped. Like there's a bump on the floor. Okay, that's not going to pass right there. The same thing over inside of the small gym. Same thing. Right. So yeah, what he's done is it's smoke and mirrors, and it's chaos on the inside. It's not orderly. It's chaos. Okay, he manipulates people to make it seem as if he's making progress. Well, that's exactly what Umar was about. Umar, he pretends to be a school psychologist on the outside. That's the paint. Okay, Umar dresses in the dashikis to act like he's a Pan Africanist. That's the paint. Okay, he goes around pretending to be all these different things, a school principal and a child psychotherapist, but that's just painting that he. But the truth is that if you go inside, he's someone who's batshit crazy. That's what it is. Thank you, CJ. Radar for Robin says, I think Umar trying to make a full transition over into the podcast space because FDMG is coming to an end. Do you think it will work for him? Well, it would if he started his own podcast, which he's tried to do before, the Big Papa podcast, which was audio only. It was MP3 file. But he could legitimately do a podcast. Again, he has no organization skills. He doesn't understand how social media works. He doesn't know how to behave. He doesn't know how to present himself in a respectable way. Like I'll iron a shirt. I didn't shave today, but I normally try to shave, and I take a shower before I start the show. I take a shower after I'm done with the show. Yeah, I know I'm late all the time, but the point is I try. You know what I'm saying? I'm working on that. I've been working on that as long as FDMG's been. Anyway, there's a lot that there's a lot that he would have to change. Okay, first of all, he would have to have a space set aside where he could live stream consistently, and it don't look like his mama closet. That mama closet shit, it's wrong. With the little backdrop with the sun on it, that's and then it's sitting in a bummy chair. Just upgrade your chair. Really for Umar, what he needs is he needs a setup where he has his main camera, and that main camera is in front of a nice desk, like a professional desk, because then he could present as a professional. And he has a nice chair that has a high back on the chair, and it's really, really nice, probably leather kind of really nice, nice color too. And he, when he live streams, he doesn't dress like a bum from Philly. He doesn't dress like this fake Pan Africanist with a fitted cap with a wrinkled up funky dashiki on. There's a lot that he would have to do. He'd have to make sure he invests in the proper lighting. He has to invest in the proper camera. He has to invest in the proper audio. I have this lavalier mic. I've had it for over a decade. I need to upgrade it, but it works just fine. I've been using it for such a long time. I love it. Then he would have to put together a schedule, and he would have to be consistent. But see, Umar, he's so scattered. He has no organization skills, and then he's lazy. He would have to learn some tech too, but that's part of it. He's not tech savvy. But if you're going to open up a school, you should be tech savvy to some degree. I had to troubleshoot the new 4K camera that I'm using right now. I had to troubleshoot it and then get the right different cables, and got the wrong one. I had to get blah 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 blah. I figured it all out. Now I'm able to live stream with it. Just simple stuff like that. And then he would have to be on a platform wherein not only people would contribute like what we do here, but also it would have to be a platform wherein his rhetoric wouldn't get him banned right away. Let me tell y'all something. My daughter's come back up here. How many people know that Umar, he actually had a YouTube page? And he tells people that he don't have a YouTube page, but he used to have a YouTube page. He tried, but he get to running his mouth and talking reckless, and they banned him. But that's a missed opportunity for him right there. See, the point I want to make right off of Robin is that there's no way that Umar could just capitalize on other people's podcasts by simply going on their podcast, because they would have to have, the ones that pay him, they would have to have him on several times a week. And his schedule would need to be packed like that to make it work. And I'm talking about financially for him. Again, he has all these different addictions. Okay, and if he was a man that didn't have addictions, and let's say that he had a family, yeah, he could probably make it that way. But ultimately, he's going to have to expand to where he has his own podcast. And I'm not talking about Big Papa podcast foolishness. I'm talking about wherein he has, a background that looks reasonable, that he dresses the part. He's not up here looking bummy and smoked out. He's not repeating shit over and over again and yelling and screaming and talking about cookies this and hot fudge and vanilla cookie. He would have to make a lot of changes. And if he did that in tandem with going on other people's podcasts, yeah, he'd be just fine. And just scale it up over time. He would be just fine. But again, he would have to make so many different changes. And he's so used to people sending him money for a school that doesn't exist, where he doesn't have to put much effort into. And he's been doing that for over a decade, 15, 16, 17 years now. He has no real incentive to change unless all the money dries up on FDMG. Then he's going to pivot. See? Now, let me tell y'all something. My views on here for Umar, they've gone down this month and last month. But the same thing happened back in January. I think it's an algorithm thing, but it could also be that people just tired of Umar. But in terms of the support that I get here, it's remained the same. So it's perfectly fine. But with Umar, he would have to make all these different changes and then be consistent enough, and then he would have to shape and change his rhetoric so that he's not going to be banned on the first day. Umar had his own YouTube page. He promoted it. I have the receipts for that. But he failed at it, just like he failed with the Big Papa podcast. Real quick, I don't mean to go off. Umar also had drumar.tv. That failed too. Yeah, I'm going to do a platform because I think he did that because YouTube banned him. He gets banned he got banned on TikTok too. You guys know that? How many people knew that? He was trying to do TikTok, but his rhetoric is over the top, and he don't understand social media. And there are certain things you can get away with, and there are certain things you can't get away with. But yeah, he would have to diversify to where, and he's not just doing other people's podcasts. He would have to do his own and just build it up over time. And he should have been doing that. He could have done that a decade ago. But he got free money, for the last 12 years for the St. Paul's College, and he has no incentive to change. He's lazy. He's going to do the least amount of work to get the most amount of money. Thank you, Rated R for There's so much that he could have done too. He could have set up a website and had it be like a hub for the Black conscious space, and then have people who have different expertise. They submit videos to him. He doesn't have to manage it either. He can just hire someone to manage it. Pay that person, I don't know, $40,000 a year, but he would be making $400,000 a year on this website. It'd be a subscription website. Okay, different tiers for subscription. Every week, he on the main page, he does a broadcast, a live broadcast. It's like a big announcement and kind of updates people on FDMG and giving encouragement. But then he also uploads different videos on different topics: the school to prison pipeline, special education. If you're interested in becoming a psychologist, a school psychologist, this is what you should do. Blah blah blah. And then have other people send in their expertise. Yeah, if you want to learn how to work on cars, and they'll give an overview of different car parts under the hood. Blah blah blah. And it'll be a series of videos for that person. You don't even have to pay. People would have done it for free. But then what he does is that person has a business. He promotes that business. There'll be an ad on that page for that person's business, car repair in I don't know, car repair in Chicago, right? And if you're in Chicago, you see this person he's on Umar, let me go to him. He's brother. We want to support the Black business. Some people have a business, they're catering business in different places. They do videos with catering and all this. They talk about preparing the food and the sanitation and all this other stuff. Have that on the website, a series of, it's like a course. All these different courses, music production course, video production course. Just sound like Umar. All this is doable, and he ain't got to pay the people nothing. Say, hey, no, just go ahead and produce the content, and we're going to put an ad on there. So when people, when they subscribe, I'm going to make that money, but you're going to get business because not only are you on my, and I'm Big Papa, you on my website, but they're going to see that there, and you do good work, you do these videos, they're going to come to you for work, service. They want to blah blah blah. You make your money. There's people who produce curriculum, special curriculum. Okay, for Black teachers. Okay, let's blah, 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 blah. Let's put all that down. Okay, blah, blah, blah. They could have done all that. He could have done all that and be making $400,000 a year. Scale the website over time. And in addition, he has a podcast. But not Umar, he's lazy. And then, like someone said earlier, he would have been subject to not only personal tax, but also he'd been subject to wage garnishments for child support. He don't want to pay taxes, and he don't want to put no money on his babies. What kind of man? All right. Van Varner said he's the hotep of homelessness, trapping in bed. Yeah. I mean, how do you get to that point where in 2019 you purchased trap banners for $400,000, but by that time you done tricked off about $800,000, to where by the end of that year you get evicted, and the rent wasn't high at all. You also get cash infusion because you acquired the trap banners in February 2019. Where'd all that money go? See, Umar started to indulge more and more and more, and got more and more out of control and less responsible, and he gets evicted. His ass gets evicted at the end of 2019. See, people say stuff like, yeah, I wish I had more money. Yeah, but are you ready for that? I want this, I want that, but are you really ready for that? See, Umar, he always wants money, but he ain't ready for it, or he uses it to self-destruct as opposed to improving his life and improving his children's lives. Or if he had a wife, that's a damn shame. He got everything to say about Black people, and you need to do this, and y'all ain't this, and blah, 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 this, and that, about you Black men. He always talking trash about Black. Meanwhile, he a deadbeat baby mama creator. He dodged child support. He's a child support dodger, and he ain't got one wife. He got these women that think that they special, but they just part of the FDMG groupie crew. With the African Safari freak off, the P. Diddy Africans. It's true, though. It's true. All right. Thanks for that, partner. Enterprise says the Fred Doug Venom building. Okay. The Fred Doug Venom. I ain't never heard it that way. The Fred Doug. The Fred Doug Venom building. That's a heap of fried Ocoomp. Okay. All right. Fred Doug. Right on. Okay. Thank you for the super chat, sir. Appy sent in 10 jewels, the gold coin. Thank you so much. And another gold coin. Thank you. I appreciate it. Usually the five says, remember Fat Arbor Umar? No, don't do that. We're not gonna do that. I'll make Umar swear on the all right. Thank you, Super. Library Roxanne says he has nothing but excuses for not seeing his kids. If you pay child support, you can get parenting time, even if you pay child support in both. Well, the thing is that the way that Umar he talks about this is as if child support and custody are together. That's not how it is. It's two separate issues. So fundamentally and primarily, you have, no matter what, because you can choose. There's people who choose not to. They don't want to deal with their children, like Umar. Okay, there's parents that say, I don't want nothing to do with the child. Okay, but you still have a fundamental legal obligation to support your child financially. And what I mean by legal, that if you don't, the child's other parent can take you to court to get financial support for that child. That's why they call it child support. But see, what Umar does, the way he frames this is that if I do pay, then I should be able to see my child. And I should be able to see my child how I want to see my child. But he has supervised visitation. He can't be alone with the child. He don't have any custody. I want people to think about that. How is someone who's a school psychologist, raised millions of dollars, has allegedly six, he has 5, but he has allegedly 6 degrees, and is this big time scholar and the most requested scholar, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But he can't even be with his own child by himself. Somebody make that make sense to me. Somebody, Umar Johnson followers. See, Umar thinks that he don't pay child support on time, but he thinks that if he does pay child support when he does in bulk, that already automatically means that he can see the child however he wants to see the child. But those are two separate issues. Child support, meaning the financial thing, and then you can also say custody, but also visitation, depending on who has custody, primary custody or full custody. Makes sense? But Umar thinks, okay, if I pay this money, I should be able to see the child however I want to see the child. No. He can't see the child whenever he wants to or however he wants to. And that's telling in and of itself. He's a school psychologist, can't see his own child however he wants to, whenever he wants to. Okay. Thank you, Library Blockchain. Natasha sent in 10 jewels, a floating heart. Thank you so much, Natasha. Scott Bullion says, so if the donations stop coming in, does that mean it will be harder for him to pay child support? Yeah, well, yes. It would. And see, really, that's the whole conundrum of this. If Umar claimed on his IRS filings that he's paying himself through this nonprofit, then there would be a record of employment that child support could use to garnish his wages. Does that make sense? But Umar strategically, he's reported to the IRS that he's not collecting any money for himself personally, even though most of the money he spends on himself. Okay. However, let's say that all the donations money stop for FDMG, would it make it more difficult for him to pay child support? And the answer is yes. Whatever figure they have him paying, he's paying with donation money for FDMG because he don't have a job. And let me be clear, Umar speaking in chicken shacks, that's not going to cut it. That he's not making big time money. Now, in his heyday, he was at least a significantly amount more. These days, no. I mean, I've seen Umar, he's out in a parking lot doing a lecture. As opposed to back in the day, he would be in sold out venues with 400, 500 people. He would be at colleges and universities. Those days are long gone. He done fell off. That's why the poll question, will he ever become a big time speaker again? 13% said yes, 87% said no. So the point I want to make is that he's not making the type of money that he needs outside of the FDMG donation money currently in order to sustain his lifestyle. Okay. So therefore, if all the donation money dried up for FDMG, he wouldn't be able to make enough money doing lectures or selling books or pillows or doing podcasts in order to fulfill his own basic needs, let alone, and again, his needs are rooted in his own levels of dysfunction with all these different addictions. If you guys understand what I'm saying, I'm not talking about normal human needs. Listen, I don't have a need to smoke crack. I don't have a need to smoke weed. I don't have a need to get rental cars or to buy all these fancy clothes. Y'all see me. Y'all see I've been wearing the same shit over and over again. I don't have a need for new shoes all the time and different accessories and fitted caps and sports attire and all this other stuff and tricking off money. If I was a billionaire, I wouldn't be tricking off money with all these kids. I wouldn't trick off money, period. But even if I had money, I wouldn't do that. See, normal people don't have those types of addictions. I wouldn't be tricking off money gambling. So if donation money for FDMG all ended tomorrow, Umar, with all of his shit he got going on, including child support, and who knows what else he got going on, because we only dealing with the tip of the iceberg. There's no way he's going to be able to provide for his own basic, selfish, addiction-riddled needs. You think he worried about paying child support? No. See, people got to understand when people get on stuff and they get addicted to whatever the addiction is, they ain't thinking about other people. They're not thinking about their kids. They're not even thinking about themselves. They're just trying to fulfill that addiction to their own detriment. Well, that's Umar. They're not thinking about their wife, their husband, their kids, their mama, their daddy, their grandparents, their cousins. They ain't thinking about none of that stuff. They just trying to get their next fix. That's how Umar's been living for over a decade. Truth be told, he started sniffing and shit back in 2023, which means he was indulging prior to that. He's been at this a long time. He got some serious problems. So that's why he has to return back to these bandos the other day, looking all smoked out and fiending. Because no amount of money is ever going to be enough. And this FDMG school scam, people ain't sending him money for that like they used to. And he knows that. That's why he's in desperation mode. Thank you, Scott Bouillon. Baba Hogan said if he gave up the scheme, what realistic options exist? Like I said, there are always options. Even on my YouTube page, I already have a contingency plan. I haven't implemented it yet, but it's going to happen at some point. Okay. He always has options. That's the thing. That's one of the biggest things. People understand that you always have options. You know, like I said, Umar could just specifically focus on building his social media platform. That would be Instagram, that would be Facebook, and that would be YouTube. See, YouTube being a primary one, though, but he can live stream on all three at the same time. But he's not tech savvy. You guys know what I mean? He's connecting with all these different audiences simultaneously, and there's always going to be a conversion rate. People buying products, services, sending super chats, super stickers, blah, blah, blah. That's a great option for him. But like I said, there's so much that he would need he would have to learn. There's so much that he have to make different changes. And yeah, Bob Hogan. He would also have to be willing to work with other people. And that's one of Umar's problems, because he's a megalomaniac. He has to be in control, but he don't know what he's doing. Same thing with FDMG. He has to be in control, but he don't know what he's doing. You guys remember Brother Marion? Okay, rest in peace. He was going to do Umar's website for free, but he could have also helped Umar to get his live streaming set up stuff. And listen, there's plenty of people that could help Umar with that stuff. I remember there was a brother that was in tech a long time ago, and he said he was trying to help Umar with his video production. And when he had asked Umar, I want to help and blah, 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 Umar ends up, he's blocking. You guys remember that was in the first documentary, because Umar, he has to be in control of everything, but he also has extreme issues with paranoia. That's what I'm saying. There's a lot that he would have to change in order to access viable options that he could use just on social media alone, to wherein he wouldn't have to resort to all this scamming and scheming. But the truth is, though, Baba Hogan, is that even if he did that and he was making $200,000, $400,000 a year, he's just going to use it to self-destruct anyway. That's what I'm saying. Preeminently, he has to deal with his own personal issues in the first place, because no amount of money is going to change a dope fiend. It's the dope fiend is just going to be more of a dope fiend. Okay, he's mentally unstable. No amount of money is going to correct that. He needs to go get professional psychological service. He's emotionally unstable. See, he needs to get with a good psychiatrist. He needs to get with a good psychologist and work through his issues over time for years, just to prepare for these options. Otherwise, he employed these options, and if he was successful, which he would not be because he doesn't have the skill set and he's lazy. But if he was able to do that, it would increase his degradation and his self-destructive lifestyle. And you would see it from today to next year to be worse than what we've seen from 2019 to 2026. That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of lessons we can learn from Umar. There's a lot of lessons. See, and when I talk about social media and how it can be used, to benefit yourself, and in my case, benefit myself, benefit my family, I'm a living case study. I do this part-time. Okay. If I did it full-time, I would make even if I did it more than full-time. Okay, because altogether, I'm doing about 60 hours. That's what I was talking about earlier. Like I haven't slept right in about 3 years. And my wife thought I was joking. I said, no, I said, it's always something. It's like the universe is conspiring against me so that I can't get no sleep. Okay, part of it is I'm doing too much. And I have been for a long time, but it is what it is. I'm not complaining. The point is that if Umar if he invested into social media with a business strategy, and he did so 40 hours a week, he could be making $150,000 a year to start. That's all I'm saying. But he's not ready for that anyway. Because another $150,000, that's just, it's going to allow him to be a super pookie as opposed to just a pookie. Thanks, Baba Hogan. Baba Hogan. What in the world? And rest in peace to Hulk Hogan. Usually if I said Lenon has extreme salacophobia, I'm not looking it up. I'm not looking it up. Pharaoh can pop Umar Johnson. Stop. Stop. Don't do that. I feel so bad for young Pharaoh, because he was young. I remember he came onto the scene back in the day. He was young. He was a young guy. Brandon says, we have Lil Uzi pervert over here. What is Lil Uzi? What is Lil Uzi? Should I not look this up? Brandon, let me go see. Lil Uzi. Oh, I don't know who this is. The stage name of Samir Basil Woods. He's an American singer, rapper, and songwriter who's known for their genre-bending music and unique fashion. Considered a major figure in contemporary hip-hop, Uzi has 3 #1 albums. Yeah, I don't know who this is. Yeah, he's 31 years old, and it says he's 5'4". Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. If I ask my kids, at least some of my kids, they probably know what it is. Talk about a Lil Uzi. I don't know nothing about that, Brandon. Thank you for the super chat. Militon says, what? Rest in peace, Black Conscious Committee. Oh, yeah, this is when I was playing that Young Pharaoh video. Yeah, it's sad. It is. And there's a lot of people. We can put together a whole list of people that came through the Black Conscious community, in particular through the House of Consciousness, who've they've fallen off tremendously. It always comes to mind, there was this guy named Natural Tahuti back in the day. And when they were doing all that debating and stuff, Polite was part of that. He's in jail. There was another guy, I can't remember his name right now. There's so many different people, but he's in jail. But Young Pharaoh, he was around back then too. Well, a little bit later on, because he was younger. Sarasut and Seti. But Natural Tahuti, he was around. So a lot of people don't remember this guy, but he ended up going to jail. I don't even remember what he went to jail for, but once he was in jail, there was a drug deal that went on, and he was associated with it. And the person overdosed and passed away, but because he was associated with it, he got hemmed up and got even more time. Let me see. Natural Tahuti. Yeah, there's a lot of people from back in the day. Yeah, Brother Natural Tahuti is a well-known holistic wellness advocate, author, and educator. Wait, that can't be this guy. This is somebody else. Maybe his name wasn't Natural Tahuti. Let me see. House of Consciousness. Somebody said General Butt Naked. What are you talking about? Yeah, maybe I got his name right. Anyone remember who I'm talking about? because he had a heavy associations with Sentendrey in the House of Consciousness. But he's another guy that was around back in the day, and I think he's probably still in jail. He already had charges, but then after what went down while he was in jail, he got more time. It was sad too, because I remember Sentendrey had his daughter on. And it's just sad. There's so many different people over the years. Okay, thank you, Miller Time, for the super chat. Yeah, the Black Consciousness, it's gone through a lot of different, just all kind of crazy stuff over the years. Okay, let me finish up with these super chats. Then we get to the main video. I know I've been running them off for like 2 hours. Let's see. Psalms 91 says, Lenon, I'm at work with a monthly FDMG donor. Can you please show the rock on the stairs video? They said I'm making it up. I'll show it. Yeah, and this was from earlier, so they may have. But anyway, you can come back and watch it. So I'll pull it up right now. Again, we were watching this video live, and this is years ago. We were watching this video live, and I didn't know what was going on at first. I was confused. This is back in 2021, June 26th of 2021. I didn't know what was going on at first, but then at a certain point, we figured it out. And this is one of the most telling videos dealing with Umar that anyone could see, including his donors. Okay. All right. So here's the video. I won't play the whole thing. I'll skip to the part.
Peace and black family. This is Dr. Umar Tunde, the Prince of Pan Africanism. I want to welcome you to the Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey, RBG, International Leadership Academy for Pan African Excellence.
Okay, I'll skip through. So he starts talking about this project, and he's walking around. Very rarely does he have a cameraman, but he has a cameraman this time. They're walking around, and he's talking about like the history and what he hopes to do, he plans to do, and he starts walking over here again. When we talk about professionalism, if he's going to do something like this, he should be dressed appropriately. He should have a film. They really should have two people doing camera. They should try to have the best audio quality that they can get. Umar should not be wearing jeans that are literally falling off of his backside. He even pulls them up. It's just
significant lack of.
See him pull it up? He's pulling his pants up. Okay, now let me get to the part. So he keeps talking. He keeps walking. He keeps talking. He comes around the corner, and then right about here, wait, he stops right here. And then right about, yeah, here it is. It's coming up right here. Yeah, here it is right here. So I won't give any commentary. I'll just let it play. And then I'll give my commentary. Here we go.
You own them. It was the money of black people that purchased this campus. It was the money of black people that purchased this campus, brothers and sisters. And speaking of symbolism, speaking symbolically, brothers and sisters, let us also understand that in a very symbolic way, if Wilmington, Delaware was the last stop in slavery, if Wilmington, Delaware.
Okay, let me play it again, then I'll give my commentary. Watch this.
Speaking of symbolism, speaking symbolically, brothers and sisters, let us also understand that in a very symbolic way, if Wilmington, Delaware was.
Okay. Okay, so if you haven't seen this, let me give you my commentary to tell you. And we figured this out live, and I didn't know what was going on. People in the chat room didn't know what was going on either, but we figured it out. So Umar, remember that he's in context. He's doing this video to promote FDMG. He has a cameraman. This is a big thing. He's walking around, kind of giving a tour, and the focus should be on promoting this project. Because in essence, this is how he gets money. That should be the primary goal. But watch what happens.
Complex, but we own all four of these buildings. We own them. You own them. It was the money of black people that purchased this campus. It was the money of black people that purchased this campus, brothers and sisters. And speaking of symbolism, speaking symbolically, brothers and
See, right there, he happens to look over. It's very quick, but he happens to look over and he sees something sitting on the steps. Okay, the real critical question is why does he see that? Because he should be focusing on this presentation. He should be focusing on promoting FDMG because it's being recorded. He sees something, he looks over right here, he sees something, and watch what he does. I'm gonna mute the audio. He looks again. See, he's walking forward. He looks again. And then he puts his finger up to let the cameraman know, like, hold up a second. And now his eyes are fixed on something. Remember context, he's supposed to be focusing on this video to promote FDMG, the irony of all of this. But instead, he sees something, he glances, he sees it once, he glances again, he sees it twice, but this time he stops. He's already passed the steps. He puts his finger up to notify to the cameraman to hold up. See that? And he can't keep his eye off of it at this point. He walks back, he turns back and walks back to the steps. He takes a seat. Okay, again, the context is he's supposed to be doing this video to promote FDMG. But instead, he sees something and he becomes fixated on it to the point where he stops. He notifies the cameraman to just hold on a second. He turns back and walks backwards. And I shouldn't say walks backwards, but he walks back towards the steps, sits down, and now he's looking at something. And then watch what he does. See that? He takes his finger and he starts fidgeting with it. Okay, and then right there he realizes that it's not. Look at this guy. Look at his face. He couldn't even stop himself from going over there to investigate. Normal human beings, we're not going to do that. But what is it? Because I remember when we first watched this video, I was like, maybe it's a bug or something. Okay. But look at this. See, it pans down and you can see on the 1, 2, 3, the third step towards the back where the shadow line is located, there's a little white rock. Okay. Now that we have that in place, because when we first watched this, I didn't know what was going on, but once it pans away, I said, wait a minute. Now let's watch the whole sequence again, keeping that in mind, that there's a white rock over there. See, normal human beings, we're not going to go look at this white rock and investigate it. Watch this. He looks back, he sees it. He looks back again. He tells him to pause. Hold on a second. He turns back around, walks back, sits down, and starts fidgeting with the white rock. Okay, I'm going to tell you guys something right now. Look at it, pans down to see it. I'm going to tell you right now. This is what you call dope fiend behavior. Okay, I've never been a dope fiend, but I grew up around them. See, what I'm getting at is that the addiction is so heavy. It's like a monkey on a back, right? They could get the monkey off. It's so heavy in Umar that he doesn't even have the discipline or even the cognitive processes needed to say, hey, wait a minute, I shouldn't do this right now. I'm actually being recorded right now. I'm supposed to be promoting this school right now. He can't even stop himself. He has to turn back to go and look to see what that is. But normal human beings, we wouldn't even be thinking about to go see it, to go look. But what happens with dope fiends is that sometimes it'd be normal stuff that we would see, but they will associate it with it because it looks like something that is associated with a substance that they own. So someone who, let's say someone who's on cocaine, and I'm talking about a really, like they strung out on it. If you go and take some you can take a sugar, or you can take some flour, or you can take some baking soda and go put it on the table and just put it in a line. I'm just saying, okay. Not that I've ever done any of this, but you can put it, line it up. Get a credit card or whatever they do. Line it up. And see how they, and then have them walk in and see how they respond. See, there's people who they on crack, and if you put like a little rock in the carpet, if you show it to them and throw it into the carpet, and they'll go start looking for it. They'll go from each little area, move it, they start looking for it. See, they'll associate things that we would be like, oh no, that's just it's just a little rock. I'm just playing with you, right? Or no, that's baking powder, or baking soda, whatever. Normal human beings, we're not going to be looking at him. No, we're not going to do that. But see, Umar, he associates whatever that little rock with whatever it is that he's on, and the impulse is so great that he can't even stop himself. I'm going to tell you, donors, right now, that a lot of your money, that's what it's gone towards. That's why the school, that's why the school's not open in 2026. He's been at this a long time. That's why he don't have faculty and staff. That's why he don't have a team. Oftentimes what happens with these dope fiends too, by the way, is that because their addictions are so great, that's all they focus on. They don't develop interpersonal relationships, or even if they have relationships, they tend to destroy those relationships, because at a certain point, their whole life is about getting their next fix. They don't care about their kids. They don't care about their wife, their husband, their family members. They don't care about none of that. Well, that's Umar. That's why Umar doesn't want transparency. That's why he don't have a team. That's why he don't trust people. That's another thing. I'm gonna tell y'all something real quick. A lot of these dope fiends, they have trust issues. They don't trust people because a lot of that stuff, it starts to impact their mental health. They start getting paranoid and all this kind of stuff. Y'all be crazy. Y'all be amazed at what happens when people get on certain stuff. They start getting paranoid and be. Anyway, let me just say this again. Umar has had substance abuse issues for a very long time. Like I said, based upon my research, he starts with the sniffing in and around 2012, 2013. And it's gotten worse ever since. But what that means is that he's already done blown through his nose, whatever they got going on up here, his nasal cavity, at least up to. So he's been at this a very long time. I can pull up other videos where Umar is either tweaking. Okay, remember he was pouring the water on his head up there at these trap bandos, or when he started laying, he was laying down in the grass when he was down south somewhere. I think he was down south. He was laying in the grass. He was high. So you'll see Umar when he's tweaking because he's high. Or the Kobe Bryant rant as an excellent example. Or you'll see Umar when he's fiending for something. See, when he's high, he'll be all yelling and just manic. But then there's times where you can see Umar, he's angry, he's upset, he's agitated. You see him scratching and shit. He be doing like this. That's because he needs to get his fix. So listen, I'm going to say this. You, Umar Johnson followers, you do whatever you want to with your money. It's your money. You make the money, you spend your money however you want to. But I just want to be clear about something. All of the money that Umar Johnson has raised up to this point, it has to be close to $3 million by now. Not one black child has been educated, and not one penny of that money has gone towards helping black children. So if you're sending money because you want to help black children, well, then I'm just saying rationally and just basic logic, then you should stop sending money, because not one dime has helped black children. It's to the benefit of Umar, but it's been to his detriment. See, that's the catch-22. And I want you to also understand, you can send however much money you want to, because it's your money. You spend the money. You earn the money. You spend the money. It's perfectly fine. Okay, that's perfectly rational. But let me be clear about something. That's money. If you have children, you could put that on your children, as opposed to giving it to a dope fiend. Somebody out there in the Umar Johnson saga universe, make it make sense for someone to send their hard-earned money when they got a family, they got kids, maybe they brother or sister need a couple of bucks, or they got family members that could use a couple of bucks to get groceries. Why would you take your money, your hard-earned money, and divert that money and give it to a dope fiend? It's your money, so do what you want to. I'm just saying logic and reason. What logic is that? Is it reasonable? You got people out here who already have schools that are already providing services for black children, that are providing after-school programs for black children, and they can use a couple bucks to help to get the kids a little something extra, or whatever the case may be. But what logic is there in sending your money to a dope fiend. And well, like I said, I've never shamed Umar Johnson donors for what they do with their money, because that's their money. I'm just saying that as a logical and reasonable person, you got to ask some critical questions. Is it reasonable for me to do this? That's all I'm saying. And if you say yes, okay, fine. Okay. I will say, and if you say no, that's fine too. But I will say this, that understand that if you say yes and you want to keep sending him your money, all you're doing is enabling a dope fiend, and that's not uncommon, but also understand that you're contributing to not helping black boys, but to Umar's self-destruction. That's why he's where he's at in 2026, in part, because people have given him money that he was undeserving of, he wasn't responsible with, and he never intended on opening up a school. Most of this money has gone towards Umar in his self-destructive lifestyle. And that's a statement of fact. I can pull up other examples too. Okay. Look, real quick, I just saw this. I remember on and I have a screenshot of it. I would have to find it. But when Jamal Johnson had his social media up, that's Umar Johnson's daddy. And I'm not a fan. Okay, you guys know that. I'm not an Umar Johnson defender either. But what he did to Umar was wrong, coming on social media criticizing his son like that. It's diabolical. Someone had posted on Jamal Johnson's Facebook page back in the day, because this when they had all this beef going on with Umar and Jamal. They said, well, hopefully, talking about Umar, hopefully Umar can get into rehab and get his life turned around. Okay, I'm paraphrasing. Okay, did Jamal delete that comment? No. Why? Because he knows. Family members know. Y'all don't think they don't know that? They know that. Ain't no telling how long Umar been under the weight and had this monkey on his back. It's a gorilla at this point. One last thing. I'm not using this and Umar's issues with different, that's just one addiction, using that as an excuse as to why he don't take care of his kids, or why the school ain't open, or why he ain't married, or why he go in on his baby mama and his baby mamas and his daughter, and why he out here running through these women. I'm not saying that that's an excuse. What I am saying is that you donors need to be understanding of the fact that when you send Umar this money, it enables him to continue to do what he's been doing and continue to live the life that he's been living. And it has nothing to do with educating or saving black boys. That's why he hasn't done that. All right. Thank you, Psalms, for being a member for 30 months. Enterprise says, Ifa is idol worship. It's the reason they mentor. And again, people can do whatever they want to do. Okay, I'm very clear about that. Just understand that there's going to be consequences, good or bad. And clearly, whatever Umar's into, because he mixes a lot of stuff into, it's not working for him. It's not working for him. Look at where he's at in life. See, and then there are people, they'll take things, but they're taking it for their own reasons. And it has to do with they want to cause harm to other people, or they want to manipulate other people. And that's when it gets really, really dark, really, really quick. And you're going to pay a price for that. See, Umar, he has an identity crisis, including a religious, spiritual identity crisis. He was raised Muslim. His grandmama was Jehovah's Witness. His mama was Christian. His daddy was Sunni Muslim, at least for a while. He had an uncle that was a 5%er. Then he gets into Ifa and other stuff. He all over the place with it. Someone's, and I can't remember. Well, I'm gonna leave that alone, because boy, I tell you, it gets crazy. It gets crazy. Thanks, Enterprise. Greatness sent in a super sticker. Thank you so much. Let me do this real quick. Miranda, how's it going? Miranda sent in 550 joules, says stay hydrated. Thank you so much. And I do need to get something to drink. I need to also wipe my head off. We got about 880 people. If you're enjoying the show, hit that like button. Our goal is 400 likes. Okay, how are we doing on time? Yeah, we'll go for another 40 minutes. I was going to try to do a short show, but Anyway, thank you, Miranda. Greatness says, I believe that Umar has told the podcasters that his attorney has advised that he not speak to on FDMG so they won't ask. I don't know. I can't say that as a statement of fact. It's possible. He may not necessarily say that his attorney, but he may just say, hey, listen, with everything going on and with them sabotaging FDMG, if you can just not ask me any questions. But he could have done that years ago on the podcast that he gets on, like our dialogue. Okay, James said he did mention FDMG like briefly. Okay, I haven't taken the time. We didn't cover that, did we? No, we didn't cover that. Or did we? Maybe we did. I can't even remember. Someone let me know inside the chat room. But the point is that if he did, it wasn't some big drawn out explanation or an update on FDMG. And that's really what Umar Johnson should do, especially on these bigger platforms, right? Because you got a whole bunch of people tuning in. That's what he used to do on the Breakfast Club. How's it going, White Will? Thanks for tuning in too, and modding too, Francisca. Back in the day, Umar would take a lot of time to talk about FDMG when he would get on these major platforms. But see, because so many years have passed and Umar has lied and been caught in so many lies with FDMG over the years, at this point, he doesn't want people to talk about it. He don't want people mentioning it. He don't want us talking about it. See, people understand that Umar, his scam, the FDMG school scam, that was his piece. There was his stance, as they say. If I'm saying it wrong, I apologize. That's how he got the most amount of money from Black people in the shortest amount of time. We're talking millions of dollars. And very few people in the Black conscious space has outdone Umar. Only right now, the only person that comes to mind is Jay Morrison, because he got upwards to $11.5–12 million of Black people money for a Tosha real estate fund, and that was a sham. But outside of that, there's a few. There's only a handful of people that I would be able to even think of, less than a handful of people that I can think of. They got roughly $3 million, and around $3 million, let's say since 2010, of the last 16 years. But that's his main source of income. That's where he has to do the least amount of work to get the most amount of money out of Black people. So what has happened is, back in the day when he would go on platforms, he would talk about it all the time. He was happy to be able to talk about it. He go on a Breakfast Club. That's what he would like to talk about, because he gets on those big platforms. He gets all these new viewers. Those new viewers that they don't know about his history with St. Paul's school scam. They don't know about the history about the UNIA scam back in 2005. They don't know anything about that. So the donations started to come in. Now, what has happened over the years that Umar, he's done ran through all these different podcasters, and then the podcasters start asking questions. Like Joe Budden, he's starting to question the validity of this FDMG project. And Dr. what's his name that's on there too. I always forget his name, no disrespect. He out there from Philly. He know that Umar is a scam, but he placates to Umar for some reason, and I don't know what the reason is, because he's a doctor. He's highly intelligent, well spoken when he wants to be. He can talk street too. I appreciate that. But for whatever reason, he's unwilling to admit the truth that he knows Umar is a scammer. I have a video from a long time ago where Umar was talking about FDMG. I mean, this is long, and he was on it. What's his name? Dr. I always forget his name. What's the guy's name? He's from Philly. Dr. Oh, I was gonna say Delbert Blair. you know I'm lost. I said Dr. Delbert Blair, rest in peace. No, not the Richie guy, not MC Scammer. You guys stop. Yeah, thank you, Queendom. I'm talking about Dr. Mark Lamont Hill. Ooh, he knows that Umar's scamming with this FDG school scam, but he continues to placate. Okay, he's from Philly. I have videos from back in the day where they were together. They were at a conference and they were sitting at a table, and Umar's taking shots at Mark Lamont Hill over the years. But for whatever reason, he still defends Umar, and he knows that it's a scam. Highly intelligent. He knows. Educated. He knows. He just don't want to say it. And I think it's for political reasons. There's quite a few people that they'll do that. Okay, I'll tell the truth. The truth is the truth. Umar's a scammer. Okay. The point I want to make is that when he gets on these podcasts back in the day, he was happy to talk about FDG because the money was coming in and people weren't really questioning like they are today. Whereas these days, he don't even want people to talk. He don't even talk about it all that much now compared to back in the day. People who were been around for back in the day, you know what I'm talking about. He would be online consistently, FDMG this, FDMG that, FDMG this, and we doing this, and we doing that, family, blah, 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 blah. These days, he'll get on these big time podcasts and listen, what he's probably done greatness is he's probably told them from past interviews, hey, listen, I don't want to talk about FDMG because this is going on, or if we bring it up, it'll be real brief and let's just move on, that type of thing. Whereas back in the day, he would love to talk about it because that money was coming in. He wasn't having all the criticism. These days, the money ain't coming in. He don't get the type of he gets crazy criticism because so many people, when they realize it's a scam, you don't want to talk about it. See? And the longer this goes on, it's probable that he's going to talk about it less and less. He'll keep asking for money for it, though. Thanks, greatness. Judah says, I can't wait for all of Umar's baby mamas to blast him. Yeah, I think that it would break the internet. But see, again, these women, they've dealt with Umar on a personal level, and they just don't see the tip of the iceberg. We see the tip of the iceberg. They see more of what's underneath the water, right? And I have a sense that they were fearful of him back then and that they're fearful of him now because they know that he's emotionally unstable, that he's mentally unhinged, that he's batshit crazy. Look at how he talks and he gets online talking about them and all the stories and fanciful stories that he makes up. You think they will, if they come forward, now they got to deal with Umar because he still takes shots at him these days, even though they're not talking about him. He goes at his baby mamas every once in a while, especially when child support, anything dealing with because he has a lot of animosity, but he don't recognize that that's your basic responsibility as a father, as a man, is to provide financially for your children, even if you're not have visitation, even if you're not an active participant. You got to support your children. But he blames the baby mamas like a lot of males do. Well, you wasn't blaming them when you was up in there skeet without the condom on, was you? Umar, when you up in there raw dog rebel and shit, you wasn't complaining about nothing. Everything was good, right? So you get them pregnant, but you don't want to take care of them. You don't want to take care of the babies, and you get mad at them because you got to support the child financially, even though you don't. Well, anyway, let me stop. Telling you men, if you're going to be up in there and you don't want no kids, then put a condom on. I know you don't like it. I don't like them either. I'm 50. I'm about to be 51. I got 5 kids and we ain't having no more. I still don't like them. You can't find them. Then you finally find them. You just to open up the package. That take about a month. Then you got to put that thing on. That's no fun. They don't feel the same. I get it. But if you're gonna be up in there raw dogging, don't complain when you get, because somebody gonna get pregnant after a while, and you can get pregnant the first time. I had a friend from back in the day. She was Catholic, and she was no sex, no nothing, like she was a virgin when she gets married. She had to have been about 25 at that time. Yeah, 20, no, because it was after I met my wife. That had been about, yeah, she probably was around 27, 28 by that time. Now that I think about it. An old friend of mine from back in the day, real cool. I think she was Spanish. That's what I think. I think she was Spanish. So she big time Christian, like big time Catholic. And I don't think Catholics use condoms either, by the way. So if I would consider myself to be a Christian, I'll probably be a Catholic. anyway, that's another whole other thing. But anyway, she gets married, and on their marriage night, they have intercourse. That's the first time for her, because she had been a virgin, and she said she knew right away she was pregnant. I shouldn't say right away, the next day, because she said her body felt, because it's an old friend of mine, one of my good friends, and she could tell, because after 28 years, of not being pregnant, she knew right away. I don't mean to be telling all her business. Like, damn, why are you telling all her business? And because y'all ain't gonna never find out who she is. She's not really a wonderful young lady. I had known her since 6th grade. And y'all know who she is. She ain't gonna see this video. I hope she don't see this video. So I'm up here running my mouth, telling all her business. Okay. Anyway, the point I want to make here is that if you're going to get up in them skins, as we used to say, and you're gonna raw dog it, then just be prepared for consequences, good or bad. And there are some good consequences, trust me, I know, but there can be some consequences that you may not like. And if the consequences are the ones that you don't like, well, too bad. That's on you. Because she didn't ejaculate into your vagina, you ejaculated into her vagina. That makes sense? Unless you got one. I don't know, maybe I don't. Anyway, I'll leave it right there. I'm going too far. Okay, anyway, just to go back to what Judah was saying, I think his baby mamas, they know, and they've known for a long time that Umar Johnson is emotionally unstable, he's unhinged, and he's dangerous because they've had to deal with him personally, and we only see the tip of the iceberg. They see much more of what's under the surface. And if they came out and spoke about Umar, they know that they would get retribution, if not just from Umar, but also from Umar Johnson followers. Now, last thing I want to say on this before we move on is that there was a rumor that many years ago, it would have to have been over a decade, that two of his baby mamas had gotten together and was on I think it was a blog talk radio show and discussed Umar. And just off the top of my head, I don't think it was a rumor. I actually think that took place because I remember, and it could have been something else though. So I don't know if it happened or not, but there's a part of me that remembers something like that happening. But at that time, I wasn't researching Umar, so it's something that I didn't really pay much mind to. Is there anyone in the chat room who remember that? Okay, and I already told people if anyone has an audio recording of that and they send it to me, I'll cash app you $150, okay? Or PayPal you $150. But at this point, I don't think that they would do that, come out to speak about Umar because he's so unhinged. He's dangerous. And they know it more than anybody else because they've dealt with him personally. Okay, thanks, Judah. UG5 says, Lenon, wear the same shirts, but he seeks C with, I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, I think you're saying you say I'm sexy with mine. Okay. Hi, that's Umar. He said, I'm sexy with mine. Yeah, I got a little belly, right? I'm comfortable in my skin. Yeah. Thanks, UG5. Judah also says, I'm worried about his mom, his family need to talk. Yeah, there's a lot of people who still worry about his mom. And I wish there was something that could be done. One of the things that the young lady that took care of his mom for a while that Umar was intimate with, I think she was 23 or 25, I think, when they were intimate. This was a couple of years ago. She did say that wellness checks did take place. And that there was no findings that would necessitate the mama being taken up out of there or Umar being dragged up out of there. Okay, one or the other. So there's a lot of people that are worried and have been worried about the mama for a very long time. It's sad. Umar's a primary caretaker, but remember, he was over in the UK. Well, who's taking care of his mama during that time period? Another random woman that he picks, and just horrible. And the thing is that if you're going to make that level of commitment to be the primary caretaker of your mom or your father or grandparent or whatever, or it doesn't even have to be that. It could be a uncle, aunt. It could be a child. It could be your spouse. You know what I mean? If you're going to take on that, if that's going to be something you're going to commit to, that should be something that is your primary focus because you're talking about their health and their quality of life. And her quality of life that's just horrible. But Umar, he don't care. It's sad. Thank you for the super chat. Solo Poppy sent in 10 jewels and says, Heidi, thank you so much for the 10 jewels. And Uncle Alert, thank you so much. What's up, Master Khalik says, it's a crackhead fidget. They do it in the carpet too. Yeah, I was saying that earlier. I was saying it earlier. It's a fidget. They be fidgeting with things, looking at things. And anyone who's been around, especially if you've been around people that's been on certain types of substances. When we were growing up, weed was big time. Crack was big time too, though. But weed, and then I remember Sherm became popular. That messed a lot of people up. I got a relative that messed him up big time. He still ain't right to this day. Nowadays, there's all kind of stuff, like the crystal meth, and I mean, they got all kind of stuff now. That's why people got to be careful, because you don't know what they putting in stuff. You don't know what they lacing stuff with. They give you one thing and it got something else in it, and it gets, But yeah, crackhead stuff. Okay, if you ever been around people that's on crack, and I have, it's a mess. It's a big time mess. And Umar, he got some problems. I'm not saying he on crack. I ain't saying that because I don't know. But he owns something. He owns some things. I'll say that. Thank you, Master Khalid. QB sent in 2 jewels and says 100. Thank you so much for that. White Whale sent in 440 jewels, says Uncle Alert. People love saying Uncle Alert. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Library Blockchain says the donation does help children. Remember, it helps pay his child support. Yeah, I mean, a person could argue that. And real talk, I wouldn't be I shouldn't even say it that way. I wouldn't be averse to that if he took money that he received for donations, and because that's what he's doing anyway. But I'm saying that if he came out public and says, I just want people to know that some of this money that I received for FDMG, I got to live. I've spent it on rental cars. I've spent it on child support because I got to take care of my baby. But he don't talk like that. He don't care about the babies. See, as a father, I'll be like, okay, well, you got to do what you got to do. But then on top of that, he would need to actually indicate that in his IRS filings. That, hey, there's a certain amount of money that I'm using for personal reasons, child support, rental cars, food, clothing, whatever. I got to buy my kids some clothes or whatever. If he did that, okay, I get it. Okay, but whatever it would be that he pays himself, it's going to be subject to child support and wage garnishments, because he don't pay child support on time, even though he would say, hey, listen, I'm going to be using this money to pay for child support. But the other thing is that he's going to that money, it's going to be subject to personal taxation. Okay. State and federal, and he don't want that either. Again, a lot of what Umar Johnson does, it's his own way of trying to keep as much money that he didn't earn rightfully and respectfully, if that makes sense. And he can keep as much of that money in his own hands and use it as however he wishes. He's greedy like that, as opposed to doing what normal people do. You pay your taxes. If you got child support, you pay your child support, right? If you got a tax lien, you pay your tax lien. Okay. If you got a mortgage, you pay your mortgage. If you got rent to pay, you pay your rent. Umar don't do the basic stuff like that. He's trying to figure out ways to keep as much money in his hands. But look at where he's got it. There's some lessons in that. That's what I'm saying. People, they could say, oh God, if you could, I need more money. But you can say that. But if you get it, are you really ready for that? You can give Library Blockchain. You can drop $500,000 in Umar Johnson's hand tomorrow. And he'll use it to self-destruct to win. And by next year or 2 years from now, that money's gone. And he'd be right back out there begging in front of FDMG. Okay. Thank you, Library Blockchain. We still got about 863 people in the building. Let me check to see where we're at with the likes. I'll close out this poll too, because we're going to go for about 23 more minutes. We're at 388. We need 12 more to get to the goal of 400. If you're enjoying the show, hit that like button. Let's see. The poll question, will Umar Johnson become a big-time speaker again? 14% said yes. 86% said no. And in my opinion, he will never be. That ship has sailed. Even physically, he doesn't have the same level of command that he used to. Okay, with age and attrition. Let me go ahead and close out that poll. That's the way I won't forget. All right, I got 3 more here, and then we'll get to the main video. Whitewell says 250 joules. Says a laughing disco. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And then Fly Cleansing Chick. Okay. Says Uncle Alert. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And again, with the 440 joules, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Jay Civic says the new drug for sale is people's emotions. Yeah. Well, a lot of this FDMG stuff, it's about triggering people's emotions. This is try to save your black boy from school to prison pipeline. You're going to keep them out of special education and trafficking drugs and misdiagnoses and all this stuff. Umar plays upon the fears of black people, in particular, single black mothers. And this has been his target audience for, I can't say from the beginning, but I will say that from the time that he actually starts to make and develop a online presence, that was his main target demographic, and it is still to this day. Okay? All right, thank you so much, Jay Civic. JT7 sent in 10 joules and says hiding. Thank you so much. Looks like someone's scoring a touchdown at that moment, right at that moment. Okay, thank you so much. YouTube, I said sent in 400 joules. Says long. All right. You can't let it go, can you? All right. All right. All right. So after 2 hours and 50 minutes, and with only 20 minutes to go, we finally get to the main video. Okay, we'll get to most of it because it's not long, and then we'll finish the rest of it tomorrow. Thank you guys. Shout out to everyone inside the Cooker Chat. I hope you're enjoying the show. And shout out to everyone who sent in super chat, super stickers, or anything else. I appreciate your support. Okay, let's go to the video. Umar's giving a lecture. And just to let people know, I actually blur it in certain parts because there's children that kind of, you'll see children. Well, you won't be able to see because I blurred it. And I try my best not to have children in these videos. Okay. I really do. I try my best, including videos where the children, they were children then, but they're adults now. Like the videos where Umar he was doing those college tours where he was being a pervert to these little girls and little boys with his phone. Okay. Those children, they're grown now. Because I think that was 2016, I think. Let's say 2016. That's 10 years ago. They would probably be like in their mid-20s by now. But even still, I wouldn't show that. Even if all the perverted stuff with Umar being perverted, if that wasn't even in there, I still wouldn't show those kids. Okay, I would blur them out. So just want to let people know that before we get going here. Okay, here we go. Thank you guys for your patience. Here we go.
Largest category of special ed service, not just in Philadelphia, but throughout the country. And what I want to say about it is this. The reason so many black children are being qualified with reading disabilities by a mostly white school psychologist core is because we don't make our children read. We don't take them to the public libraries across this city. Most of us don't have a quiet hour at home.
Okay, now, real quick, notice the hypocrisy. Umar, he doesn't deal with his own children, so he's not teaching them how to read, or he's not getting them books or any of that stuff. But he says that we don't have a quiet place at home. Umar doesn't even have a home. Hit the one. He doesn't even have a home. Yeah, what's up, Swaggonito? I ain't seen you up in here. You probably been here. I just ain't seen you. What's up, Swaggonito? This is one of the old G's right here. So he's a fake. Umar is a fake, and he has this this avatar here. This is one of the greatest. It's probably the best episode from Star Trek Deep Space Nine. I would think that it's probably ranked in the top 5 of Star Wars episodes. Something about the pale moonlight or something. That's the title of it. But this is from Deep Space Nine and Captain Sisko. It's a great episode. Like I can watch that at any point and be intrigued. Anyway, yeah, I think he's actually in Philly. I could be wrong, but I think he's in Philly. He rarely speaks in Philly, but I could be wrong on this. But yeah, it's you can tell he's falling off big time, right? And there's not a lot of people there. Okay, they got a little that microphone hooked up to the thing for the karaoke. Umar can't wander because the cable is not long enough. Yeah, he don't fell off.
Some of us don't have any reading material in our house.
Benjamin Sisko.
And a lot of us have been bullied.
Played by Avery Brooks, great actor too. I met him one time. One of the greatest experiences for me as a Trekkie and as a sci-fi guy.
By society and our own children into not perpetuating academic excellence in our homes.
I think it's something beyond
academic
the pale.
Excellence is an attitude.
The pale.
Academic excellence is a mindset. Academic excellence is a way of life. And the reason so many of our girls and especially our boys are struggling academically in this city and across the country is because black parents are no longer making our children perform at their best.
Yeah, again, this is all disparaging black parents. Meanwhile, he doesn't even take care of his own children. Okay, he's also wearing Nikes too, by the way. He tells black people we shouldn't be doing that because it's the white man, but he wears it. Then he got on some jeans, and then he got on a dashiki. Okay, Nikes, jeans, and a dashiki. Nike, jeans, it's ridiculous. By the way, that episode, if you guys ever want to look it up, it's Star Trek Deep Space Nine. It's the 19th episode of the 6th season. It's called In the Pale Moonlight. Okay, it has to be it's in my top 3 all time, maybe top 5. It could be the best episode. Yeah, maybe, but definitely top 3, top 5 Star Trek episodes.
We have allowed them to become addicted to social media. We have allowed them to become addicted to video gaming.
Okay, Umar is addicted to social media. Okay, and by the way, his favorite game back in the day was Miss Pac-Man. You guys want to see the receipt? At least that's what he said. Look, this from 2012. Dr. Umar at Urban Prep Academy Male Conference, Chicago, February of 2013. The Prince playing Miss Pac-Man, his favorite game during his last Chicago visit. This guy up here playing Miss Pac-Man. Umar, you funny, boy. He's so funny. Anyway.
We have allowed them to become addicted to sports and entertainment.
Umar, you're addicted to sports. That's why you gamble. You guys realize that some people gamble because they're addicted to sports, and then they gamble because they get addicted to gambling. So what are you talking about, Umar? Hold on one second. He's such a hypocrite. Here's just one example. I got a gang of them. Umar posted this in 2022, April 28th of 2022. FDMG is going to put up some funds in hopes of raising enough money to cover remaining repairs on our Garvey building. We trying to hit Vegas for $2 million. Which team should we gamble on? Pick the one. He has some nerve. He's such a hypocrite. And again, he'll disparage black parents and say, you need to be doing this. But look at what he's doing. In the meantime, he don't take care of none of his kids. It's diabolical. You ain't going to catch me gambling. I got too many bills and too many, especially with this air conditioner. You guys always, but hey, listen, when you have a family, you got to think about these things now, okay? This air conditioner, they've been running it. But I kid you not. Last night, I wake up, it's 2 a.m. and it's cold. I said, because it's been hot, but it's cold. I said, why is it cold? I had that little fan that I got for my wife. I got her this fan. She said, oh, thank you. She was so happy about that. Because she be getting hot flashes. You know, you get older. I should tell my wife this. Anyway, I'm waiting. I'm just waiting and praying on menopause. Because once that come, boy, it's on and popping. Oh, boy. All that other stuff I was talking about earlier, you can throw all that out the I don't hear none of that. I've been waiting all these months. Okay, I've been waiting over 25 years for this. Anyway, some of y'all don't even know what I'm talking about. That's okay. So I had the fan on and it's cold, and I said, "What is going on?" And I looked at my phone. It was a little after 2 a.m. And I said, "One of these kids turn on the air conditioning." I get up and I'm a little upset. I open up the door. I go downstairs, and my oldest son, is sitting up on the couch watching anime. I walk over to the air conditioning and it's down. It's set at like 75. And I said, son, we never go below 80. And also, we don't turn it on at 2 a.m. He's like, oh, my bad. Then I went back upstairs and went to sleep. But that's what I mean. There's always something. It's like I never get 8 hours, and I wouldn't have got 8 hours anyway, but because I had to get up extra early this morning. It's always something, some kind of interruption. Okay, hopefully not tonight though. All right. I done got blowed off. I can't remember what we was talking about. Your kids will see this at 440. Oh, real quick. The electric bill is going to be crazy. I budgeted for this month $400. It's probably, hopefully it's less than that. But if it is, I already budgeted $400. I just said, okay, if it is what it is, because it's been crazy hot out here. I'm sweating right now. I got the air conditioning on too, but I'm sweating right now. Your kids, and it's real humid too. Your kids will see the sent in 440 joules. Thank you so much for that. It says Uncle Alert. I appreciate that. Okay, and then Quiet Cypher says, hey, Lenon, engaging in chat earns viewers joules. Oh, okay, they can use to send gifts. Uncle Alert is a 400 joule gift name, not the senders. Yeah, okay, yeah. This is a new feature that YouTube has implemented. So yeah, thank you for clarifying that. But I don't know. Does that mean that if they send the jewels that I can also take those jewels and comment on other people's stuff on YouTube too? Isn't that how that works? I don't know. I haven't looked into it. I said I was going to look into it. I just haven't done it. But thank you, Quiet Cipher, for the super chat. And everyone else, thanks for all of the jewels. I mean, it's great to have all the interaction and stuff inside the chat room. Okay, let's wind this down. We got about 11 minutes, so we'll get to like about 11 minutes of this video. Then we'll have a reset tomorrow. We'll get back and finish up with the rest of it. Okay, thank you guys so much. Again, our goal was 400 likes. We are currently at 406. Thank you guys so much. So we reached the goal. We still got about 835 people in the building. Okay, let's get back to it. Here we go.
To break out of that, because we are feeding them to the mass incarceration system. We know what racism is about, but we also have to talk about our complicity under racism. Do not get your children evaluated for special ed unless you believe something is wrong with them. I don't care what the teacher believes. I don't care what the principal believes. I don't care what the school nurse, school counselor, school social worker believes.
Yeah, these are all old Umar Johnson talking points.
Do you think your son is autistic? Autism is real, but autism is often misdiagnosed. And you cannot confirm autism at 3. So if you cannot confirm autism at 3, why does every early intervention center in Philadelphia want you to get your 3-year-olds tested for autism? You know why? Because 3 is the first age of special ed eligibility. Once they turn 3, the school district can get paid from Harrisburg.
Yeah, so Umar, he connects diagnoses like with autism with special education, but there are plenty of children who are autistic, but they're not in special education, because it's like on a spectrum. Like there's people who I mean adults too. For instance, there are children who they don't like to socialize, because I'm like that too. Like I'm real laid back. I'm real chill. Like I like to just be in my thoughts. Okay, but if someone starts talking to me, I'll listen. But there are some who are completely like they don't socialize at all, but they're functioning in all of the areas. Okay, they get good grades. You know, they do the sports. You know, they may whatever the case may be. But what Umar does is he associates being diagnosed with autism with you're automatically in special education. That's not how that works. What's his name? The guy from X. I always forget his name. You got no time. Elon Musk. He's on the spectrum. You guys know that? He's on the spectrum. The guy is at least he was for a little while a trillionaire. So Umar, a lot of his information, it doesn't stand to reason. Okay. And just because a person is autistic to whatever degree doesn't mean it's automatically that they're going to be in the school to prison pipeline because they're put in special education. That's not how that works.
Once they turn 3, the early intervention and daycare center can get paid from Harrisburg. This is not about helping your children. This is about hustling your children. Let me say that again.
Somebody said Umar, he looked like Baby Huey. People used to call him that a long time ago when I first started doing Umar videos.
This is not about helping your children. This is about hustling your children. And I need you to understand, whether you're North Philly, West Philly, Southwest, Uptown, it don't matter. Special ed is a business. Special ed is a hustle. Special education is a racket of making money off black children who you didn't teach in the first place. Most of the children I've evaluated, 25 years as a certified school psychologist. And in 20
he's lying right there.
As a certified school psychologist in the first place. Most of the children I've evaluated, 25 years as a certified school psychologist.
Okay, he hasn't worked for 25 years as a school psychologist, and he hasn't been certified as a school psychologist either. So he lies so much, it's incredible. 25 years would take him back to 2001. That's when he started his career in the Philadelphia School District as a school psychologist. He worked there for about 6 years, and then intermittently, 5 years, and then intermittently in the charter school system. But then by 2010, he gives up his career and he starts to get into the lecture circuit. He wasn't big time. He didn't get into his heyday until about 2014 after Hidden Colors success. But Umar acts like he's been a school psychologist since 2001. It's simply not true. He had a run of about 9. I give him grace, 10 years. And since that time, he's a bum from Philly. 25 years. This guy, he lies so much, it's incredible. By the way, I just looked this up. Famous people with autism spectrum disorder. Dan Aykroyd, I didn't know that at all. Okay, he used to be on Saturday Night Live. He was in Ghostbusters. They said they suspected Albert Einstein, but they don't know for sure. Daryl Hannah, she was in Splash, Blade Runner, and Steel Magnolias. Let me look her up. Who's that one lady? Oh, I don't know what Blade Runner she was in. Yeah, I don't recognize her. Yeah, she must have had a but I remember in that, yeah, this is that lady that was in that movie with Tom Hanks. She was a mermaid. Yeah, I had a crush on her. I sure did. But they said that she's on the spectrum. What was that movie? I think it was called Splash. Yeah, I had a crush on that lady. I used to watch that movie, boy. Yeah, that movie is from 1984. I was about 9 years old. Yeah. So Daryl Hannah, Anthony Hopkins. He was diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome as a child. He's a world-class actor. Isn't that the one guy that played? He still be playing this stuff. He was in that sci-fi Westworld. If that's yeah, he did a great job in Westworld. I did not know that about this guy. He's a brilliant actor, one of the greatest, in my opinion. It says some of his traits of ASD include obsessive thinking, difficulty maintaining friendships, and looking at people with a unique perspective. Okay. Heather Kuzmick, she's a reality TV contestant and model. I don't know who that is. Tim Burton, a movie director. I didn't know that. He did the Batman from back in the day. That was my favorite movie back then. Yep. Oh wait, Tim Burton. Didn't he do Batman? The one with Michael Keaton. Yeah, he did Batman. Yeah, that was one of my favorite movies when I was a kid. I remember that one. Batman. He did Beetlejuice too. Yeah, I didn't know that. Henry Cavendish. He's a scientist. They said Charles Darwin is believed to have autism spectrum disorder. Emily Dickinson, the poet. Bobby Fischer, a chess grandmaster. I've seen that too, because there was this little boy. He was like autistic, but he was playing chess. And he would do a move, and then he'll look over and be doing something else, or he'd be just doing like this, and the other person doesn't move, and he comes right back and does his move. It's like he's on a whole nother level when it came to chess, and he was playing against like an old person and just whooping everybody's ass. Bill Gates is thought to have autism, and again, it's just saying it's thought to. So there's I don't know. It says he displays a rocking motion, a monotone speech pattern, and avoids eye contact with others. Okay. Barbara McClintock, Michelangelo. How would they know though? That's too long ago. I think some of this stuff they just throwing this in here. Sir Isaac Newton. How would you know that? Jerry Seinfeld. Jerry Seinfeld is thought to be one of the most popular comedians of all time. He openly recognized himself as having autism. I didn't know that. Just sort of due to his history of social challenges and unique way of thinking literally. Okay. Wow. I didn't know that about Jerry Seinfeld. The creator of Pokemon, Satoshi Tajiri, is fascinated with bugs as a child and expanded upon his interest in adulthood by creating Pokemon. Nikola Tesla, how would they know that though? Elon Musk, okay. Clay Marzo, a professional surfer, and then Dr. Vernon Smith. And then there's a whole other list of other people down here too, including Steven Spielberg, Alfred Hitchcock. I can see Alfred Hitchcock, sure. I used to love that show. Thomas Edison, Alexander Graham Bell, a lot of inventors and scientists, Benjamin Franklin, Henry Ford, Ludwig van Beethoven. How would you know that though? Wolfgang Amadeus, how would you know that too? Bob Dylan, okay, James Taylor, John Denver, Charles Darwin, Carl Jung, Lionel Messi, really? Samuel Clemens, George Orwell, Jane Austen, and Charles M. Schultz. All right, anyway, I got to talk. Okay, we're gonna go for 2 more minutes and then we're gonna be done. Here we go.
And in 25 years, most of the children I evaluated, red, white, brown, yellow, most of them were not learning disabled. You know what they were?
What do you mean red, black, brown, and yellow? What are you talking about? And Umar acting like he's evaluating all kinds of stuff.
Lazy disabled. They were not motivated to do their best because we let our boys think they're going to be a rapper. We let our boys think they're going to be football players. We let our boys think they're going to be basketball players, and we don't tell them the truth, and the truth is simply what? You have a greater chance of being struck by lightning than becoming a professional athlete. You have a greater chance of being struck by lightning than becoming a professional athlete, but we don't tell them that. Now let's go further. I need you to understand something. Even if you sign permission for your child to be tested, if you don't agree with the conclusion of the evaluation, when you get that evaluation, which you must receive within 60 days, 60 calendar days, when you get that evaluation, if you don't agree, I do not believe my child is intellectually disabled. That's the new mental retardation. I don't think my child is emotionally disturbed. I don't think my child is autistic. I don't think my child has a math disability. I don't think my child has a comprehension disability. You can get a second opinion. It's called the Independent Educational Evaluation, IEE.
Yeah, these are old Umar Johnson talking points from like 2012, 2013.
Write a letter to your child's principal, and you tell them, I've received the evaluation. I don't agree with it. I'm requesting an independent educational evaluation, and I understand that once you approve my request, I will provide you with the name of the independent psychologist I've chosen to evaluate your child. And the school has to pay for it. The charter school has to pay for it. That's another thing. Stop letting these charter schools operate like private schools. Charter schools are not private schools. Charter schools are public schools. They have to follow the same rules. They are allowed to do some things different, but when it comes to special education, they can't do anything different. The process is 100% the same, whether you're a charter school or a public school. And here's another thing about the charter school you need to understand.
Okay, we're going to stop it right here. So we're at the 5-minute mark. We'll pick this up tomorrow and we'll get through it rather quickly. I got other stuff too that we need to get into, but I think this video is the last one. If memory serves, maybe one more that we got to get caught up to get, or we need to view in order to get caught up completely with this Umar Johnson saga. Okay, I want to thank everyone for tuning on in. I appreciate your presence. I hope you enjoyed the show. And if you did and you haven't hit that like button, go on and take 2 seconds right quick before we get up out of here to hit that like button. Our goal was 400. We got to 415. Let's see if we get to 420 before we get up out of here. I will be live streaming tomorrow. I'll set that show up. Also for members, we'll be doing a members only live. It will probably start before we do our normal time. And we'll be picking up where we left off from last week. We'll be doing part 2 of some crazy madness. So that's all I can say is it's dealing with Cheyenne Bryant. And the more I look into it and some of these other characters, it's crazy. It's a bunch of mess. Okay. Thank you guys again for tuning on in. Thanks also to the mods for handling this. Also, thanks to everyone who sent in super chats, if you sent in super stickers, or if you sent in gifts or anything else. Thank you humbly. I appreciate all of your support as always. Okay. And as we always do.
Ladies, if you misbehave, you got to come to the timeout room and you're going to get paddled. My beautiful African queens, my butter almond and butter pecan, my caramel, my guave, my chocolate fudge, my African buttercream, my pina colada, my caramel, my cinnamon, my nutmeg queens. If you misbehave, you got to come and get 3 strokes. Oh, yes, with the RBG paddle.
Yeah, that's crazy. Okay. Shout out to Black Morrow. That's y'all's principal. Scammer Business Banner. Black Morrow sent me a whole bunch of great songs. I just haven't had time to get into them, but I will at some point. We'll get some more of these intros queued up for you guys. Thank you, Francis.
There's another paint day going down.
Bob Hogan.
Another speech, another grand plan, another promise that began. Talking real big, talking real tall, got an answer for it all. Everybody looking to see how this story ends, wondering if the school ever opening. One day it's this, next day it's that. Everybody laughing in the Cookie Crush chat. Is this the man that claims to be the boss? Every conversation turns into a cookie-free call. Ooh, the mold keeps growing. Ooh, the grass need mowing. Ooh, FDMG keeps rolling on. The Charles Principal. The Charles Principal. The one who's paddling your mom. That Charles Principal. Every week another big reveal. Every donation is money he steals. singing while the groove rolls on, trying to figure out what's
Yeah,
going
thanks, Tequila. So welcome. Wanda, Queendom, Mary Henry, y'all's principal. Yeah.
Always an excuse for the school's delay. A different explanation every
Yeah, see you tomorrow,
single day.
Deshaun.
A cell phone and a park is all he needs when he should be applying for jobs.
Thanks,
on
Patrick.
Indeed. The chat starts booming, the memes start flying. He starts screaming and you know he's lying. Scrubbing toilets, painting mold. Every year this story's getting old. Losing donors day by day. All donations increase his pay. Ooh, the mold keeps growing. Ooh, the grass need mowing. Ooh, FDMG keeps rolling on. That's y'all's principal. The one who's paddling your mom.
She's a mom paddler.
Every week
That's
another
great.
big reveal.
Yeah, peace,
Every
Afro
donation is money he steals. Oh, that's y'all's principal. The one with the speech for every occasion. That's y'all's principal. Everybody singing while the groove rolls on, trying to figure out what's going on. Now somebody asks one question and somehow gets a 30-minute lesson. Somebody tell me, is this your guy? 14 years and running with this lie. Cookie Crush chat, break it down. Is that him? Is that him? That's him. That's him.
Yeah, shout out to Brother Miguel. How you doing, mate?
That's him. That's him. Is
Yeah,
that
he's a
another
paddler.
speed? That's him. That's him. Is that another explanation? That's him. Well, all right then, Charles Principal. The one everybody knows by name. That Charles Principal. He keeps rolling on, and somehow the life's still holding strong. That Charles Principal. The one who always steals the show. That Charles Principal. A cusp of bedtime and a baseline smooth. Everybody laughing and feeling the groove. That Charles Principal. That Charles Principal.
All right, shout out to Black Morrow. Man, Umar, he hilarious. That's for sure. Thanks, Jacqueline, 78-bit, OG, Sonia, Francisca again, and also Can BC. Okay, we'll be back with another live stream tomorrow. Okay, please enjoy the rest of the evening, and I'll be talking with you guys very, very soon. Again, thanks for all the support, y'all. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Take care. Peace.